Word to illeqwip.
Yeah, my crudeness doesn't like I watch that and like sometimes if the wit because sometimes it's that show's so blatant in times it's just like it punches you in the face. Like I love it when like it's almost like the writing is like raps, like shit is delivered so precise, so quick, and so like
could go over your head.
Yeah, you almost have to say you almost like I've done it as well. Like you'll stop it, you'll pause it, and you'll be like, "Yo, did you fucking hear what they just said?"
Yeah.
And so for Big Mouth, like we were fully into the first season. Mackenzie was about it, and she was like, "Yo, you gotta watch this. It's hilarious." And we got into it, and then it started getting like fucking more full on.
Yeah.
And then it was sort of like, I was like, bro, like, and you know what though? If I didn't have kids, it's not about the kids having to watch and all that sort of stuff. It's just like my downtime to watch that is like, I'm like, fuck, like I gotta weigh it up. I'm like, all right, do I watch that or do I fucking watch like a doco or like blah 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 and get sleep?
Yeah.
It's a weird, bro. It's a weird mind state. Like lately, I've been up for some fucked up reason till like 2, 3. Just getting up at like 6 to 7. Fucking doing it again. It's bizarre.
Word to illeqwip.
Yeah. What's that show again called? Big Mouth.
Big Mouth.
Yeah.
Big Mouth on Netflix.
The big horse.
Yeah, exactly. It is a big horse show. The new season is so fucking funny though. But I agree, man. It's one of those things like. Even downtime is like you have to be careful how you spend it now because it's so. There's just so many things out there between Netflix and Stan and YouTube and.
Yeah, man. Like, fuck. I just I don't know when. Yeah, for me it's just like education, even in comedy or like fucking entertainment. If I'm not getting some like okay, I'll give you an example as well. You know 30 Rock.
Yeah.
So Tina Fey's writing is fucking. It's juvenile, but it's insane, right? There's like the levels, and then like you look at Alec Baldwin and how he executes lines and shit like that.
Yeah,
it's so well written that it's like, yo, I'm watching this, I'm fucking getting entertained, it's hilarious, but like I'm fucking getting ways to put shit into what I do, maybe, or you know what I mean, like things to consider when maybe I'm being creative because. Their level of creativity is so like is at such a high level. It's challenging your thinking. That's my mentality.
I mean, I love comedy, like I love sitcoms and stand up in particular. And I guess there are a lot of parallels with hip hop in that, just in like I guess anything creative. Like there's literally you could go any direction with it. Like when you think of like a stand up comedian, like there's literally no basis to what they're talking about except the experiences. Like you could go
100%,
and it's all your perspective on it. And I guess that's kind of what. And then you know the skill and the nuance and the timing and all that kind of stuff applied to it as well. It's like,
bro, you know what? Like, 100%. There's fucking art to it. It's funny as well, man. Because do you watch Drink Champs?
No, what is that?
You know Noriega?
Yeah,
bro. If you want some fucking just
Drink
idea
Champs.
of podcasts,
yeah,
he just did a podcast for the fucking fuck of it, and now he's like Emmy Award.
Right.
Maybe not Emmy. I don't know how it works, but he's up against some like heavyweights in podcast like content game.
Yeah.
That he like, because okay, you know how like, we grew up and like there's these gaps now, and like one okay, you know The Last Dance. Have you watched that at all yet? It's about the Bulls' last championship.
I've seen it. I dipped into it last night, but I haven't made my way through it.
Okay, so there's one thing that I'm like fucking massive on, right? And it's like people's mentalities during high creative or accomplishment output times.
Yep.
And I go like, okay, so like for me, something massive is like, for example, like Eric Clapton. Like I read his autobiography. It's probably the first autobiography I ever read that I started to think, yo, like this is crazy to get an insight into who this cunt is and how he actually questions himself.
Yeah.
Right. And then I went to Anthony Kiedis, Scar Tissue. Have you read that?
I haven't, but it's been recommended to me by so many
as a
people.
creative, which you are. What's fucked up is like you see these guys that fucking elevate like, at this like high level, right? You know, you see like how they're sort of starting to function and how they're like getting through it and stuff like that. Anyway, Drink Champs. My fuck, I can't remember what my point was on it, but
It's a good podcast.
nah, but it's
The books you were talking about.
hey,
Talking about the books.
what books?
Sky tissue, isn't it?
No. No.
Who
I had
brought this guy?
I'm listening.
No,
to
the
wrong
books. I don't
podcast.
know. Like I look at the creative, and then I look at like how I can implement that shit to myself, and I look like people that even like fucking Noriega.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll
so
talk about the parallels between.
yeah, but like I love getting insight into like because we. Like now information is everywhere. We have these sort of things. We have fucking like you can go so deep into creative, right? That it almost discounts the creative and now it's just purely content.
Yeah.
So that process is no longer elusive. That process is no longer fucking like fuck what is he doing to be there, right? To get that information, like you have to read an autobiography or you need to, and like to further that, you look at this Last Dance documentary where you're seeing Michael Jordan. So like, I need to get that shit fixed when I get back, or like, like fuck this, or like bro, MJ is coming out with like fuck this cunt, fuck that cunt.
Yeah.
Like, that's Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
The poster child, right?
Yeah.
You never had that insight into that man's fucking greatness to a point where he looks like a cunt.
Yeah.
Right? We never got that, right? And like, have you ever? There's another documentary. I'm a fucker because I'm a ball fan, obviously. But do you know Dr. J, Julius Erving? Anyway, he's like a Philadelphia.
My mate Josh is gonna hate me for that.
That's
He's a massive NBA fan. He's been schooling me slowly, but yeah, he's.
It's all right. Mackenzie didn't know who Tim Duncan played for the other day, so that was pretty sad. But I love it, so it doesn't matter. I'll look past it. But okay, so. Back to like now, like in this Dr. J documentary, it goes like, yo, like now there's no such thing as legends. There's not a legend.
Yeah.
Even the people like the LeBron James, who like you would say, yeah, like I mean back in the day he'd probably be a legend, but he'll never be compared to Michael Jordan. Well, that's because all fucking Michael Jordan's garbage was kept from us.
Yeah.
Right. LeBron James is a fucking legend because he learned very early when he went from Cleveland to.
LA.
Fuck, I don't know. No, Miami.
Fuck.
LA. Fuck! Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Culture forward.
It's more like
I'm learning.
mentality, right? But when he went there, he went and did an announcement,
America.
and he went from Cleveland to America
To USA.
But when he did
Western
it,
Conference.
he learned very early that like I can't put myself out there like that because people have so much access now.
Yeah.
That even being a legend. If I give him an inch, they'll fucking take a mile. This guy gave 7 years to his first team, then made an announcement in maybe a bit of a conceited way to go to another team, to a point where this guy had he was like a legend, and he had his jerseys being burnt in his home state.
Yeah.
Burned.
Yeah.
Like ultimate disrespect. Like fuck you. Like you're a scumbag.
Yeah.
He went on, won 2 championships in Miami. Went back, gave Cleveland Cavaliers their only ever fucking championship. He went back there after they shat on him, spat on him, told him he was the biggest fucking tool to play the game, whatever. Yeah. So, like, we have the access to all that. So I suppose that, like, a lot of the stuff that I'm trying to, like, I try to get the mentality around is, like, yo, like, now we have all this access in retrospect, like The Last Dance. We get, like, these things that are the people that were legends to us all of a sudden make people like the Michael Jordans who are... Fuck, mate, you can't touch them.
The goats, yeah.
It was like you had to hear about someone that heard somebody tell them. Like, how many people have
first-hand experience,
Yeah, like you wouldn't know someone. Like you'd know it was like 6 degrees of separation of someone that had a first-hand experience, but still wasn't there.
Yeah. I can think of it. So my this is random. So it's my dad's cousin. So he's my cousin once removed. Les Spenlove. He was Mr. Australia he was a bodybuilder in like it's where I get the genetics from.
Absolutely.
In 69, I think it was. 1969, and he was when he first went to the States, he was competing against Arnie. It was like when he'd first come over. Arnie was like fucking 18 at the time, and still was only speaking Austrian, wasn't really talking didn't really have English down pat, and still was just like mind gaming the fuck out of people. Like have you ever watched Pumping Iron?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So like even in that, it kind of you see him like just play all these psychological games just to fuck with people. Like, beyond obviously him putting in the work to just be an absolute beast, he was also like tactically, but like the Arnold Schwarzenegger that the world knows, like that hasn't watched Pumping Iron, like just the kindergarten cop or the whatever. You just see him, he's just like
that's
sweet,
exactly
quirky. fucking Hercules looking motherfucker that's just like, do you know what I mean?
The governor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, man, that's
Terminator.
exactly right.
Likes
So
the
I
chuff.
love, and I don't, what? He loves to smoke?
Yeah, so he ended up pumping iron, actually. He's hitting the dubes.
Yeah, he smokes heat.
Shout out,
True,
Arnie,
yeah.
if you're watching this. Big up from Sydney. But yeah.
What up, Arnold?
But I met my because he lives in Thailand now. But I caught up with him a few years ago when I was traveling through Asia. I went and like visited him for a couple of days, and we just sat there and he just told me like all these fucking crazy bodybuilding stories from like the 60s and 70s, and basically said Arnie was a cunt, but only because he was competing against him at the time.
The other thing is like that's why this Jordan thing is so dope as well, because like you start to get an appreciation for all the dynamics of relationships around, right? So like one thing that we would never know coming up as young guys looking up to these fucking superstars, right, is that, you know, why would we care about what the office does or the management of the team or blah blah blah? So like this goes into the insight of like statistically, Scottie Pippen, arguably the fucking biggest two-man to ever play the game, right? At the 50th anniversary, he was named in the top 50 players next to Michael Jordan because of how much he contributed to the Bulls' greatness. But that guy was second in like 3 or 4 categories for the Bulls. He was first in about 2 or 3. They were the reigning 5-time champs. He was the 122nd highest player in the league, which is like insane. But we didn't know that when we were coming up. We were just like, fuck, Scottie Pippen, hectic.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Jordan, hectic. These guys are untouchable.
Yeah.
We don't know the drama. We don't know any of that. And then even to a point at that time, it's even taken so long for this footage to come out because they wanted to preserve the sacredness of that championship team, now only to a point where it will become at a massive financial gain for them. Do you know what I mean? But it was worth that much. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I guess, I mean, I haven't seen, and I'm going to have to
straight up
get onto it ASAP. But
You sold it.
it's all good. I'm expecting my check.
I guess it's coming from like that just competitive nature as well. Like I'm sure at their core they're not bad people, but they're just like so highly competitive.
100%, bro.
It's just,
If I had,
is
if
like
I had
the
a
ultimate
shoe
goal.
named after me, I'd be a cunt.
Fuck it. Yeah, exactly. Bro, I got shoes on. You see that swoosh? It's next to my name. Matter of fact, Jordan's the, like, okay, Nike's the first. No, man, I'm not talking about basketball anymore. But I'm not getting paid enough to talk about the NBA. I'm sorry, I'm just going through fucking hectic withdrawals. I'm like a fucking box score guy. I'm like a watching fucking, like, you know, we all know those footy guys as well, like that watch. Oh, cool. Who's your fucking you know, team? Oh, it's like the Bulldogs. So why are you watching fucking Parramatta play the fucking Raiders? This is like, oh, because I need to like fucking see everything. You know, so I'm that guy for basketball. You know, fuck, I got like fucking Kobe like bang on right there. You know, what I mean?
Is that a newbie as well?
Yeah, it's a newer one, man. Yeah, you see that one?
Also, shout out the doggies.
Shout out to fucking shout out the doggies.
Yeah, bro. Yes, brother.
So much.
Fucking oath. Well, I know we're like a little bit into this now, but I might as well uphold our high standards of podcast introductions.
Move that. See how your head's. See that thing?
Oh yeah,
Just annoying,
You know,
really.
right?
So
Oh wait, where do you want to go?
just move it back a bit. That one's shit.
Oh right, yeah, I feel you.
Do you want to go like that?
Yeah. Hey, if it ain't one grid, it's
You
a
wanna get me in
motherfucking
it?
another.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Like that?
That's cool.
That's vibey.
That's nice, eh?
Got a nice
Yeah.
round head.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
Alright.
So yeah, in the studio today we are joined by Lee Morno,
You.
man about town,
Oh man, really? Makes me sound like a whore.
the artist
A
formerly,
horse.
the artist formerly known as Figgkidd.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you still get? Do people still?
Yeah, man, it's actually wild. It's still like it's what's crazy about it is that it's like that's another version of me that people. It's hard to understand it when you're the person, but like people are like, what about Figgkidd? I'm like, am I not good enough, bro? Like,
Yeah.
like I've upped my skill set. I've upped my, well, I believe I'm happier with my delivery. I'm happier with my content. I'm happier with my execution. I'm happier with everything about myself.
Yeah.
Yet you are adamant that you need that sticker slapped on it. And if you don't get it, then everything else is a subpar version of that name. So it's a crazy thing to have to try and navigate around. But I mean, look, it's not a challenge in the way that it's like, you know, one thing I learned a couple of years ago was, you know, I'm a lot happier to be myself.
Yep.
I'd much rather be judged for someone the person I am, than to be castrated for the person that I don't want to say that I'm not, but I just feel as though being so young and the first person through the door in many aspects, like, oh, fuck, bro, I got burned at this fucking stake. Still people to this day that can't look me in the eyes about that shit. You know what I mean? Like, when I say that, it's like I know they've talked shit in the past. I know that I've been the fucking the person they threw out of probably under the bus in order to put themselves forward. Yeah. And bro, like, I've had some fucking names that have told me that, like straight up, when I was in NZ in Auckland, not last year, the year before, I was over there. Big shout out to Andy and Poetic's my boy. But Andy, who used to run Dawn Raid, right? Yeah. He runs 1979 management. I hadn't seen him for years, but I bumped into him at this fucking Defco, the skate brand in NZ. Anyway, dope boutique and all that. So we went to one of their launch nights, whatever, and I was there with Poetic and I was talking to Andy. He's like, yo, Figgkidd, like, fucking this, that, like, hey man, you know, and it was good to chop it up with him because, like, you know, before it was always like, you know, fucking Decepticons, you know, and them boys, and you know, we'd always see each other at things. It'd always be mad love and respect. But he even said to me verbatim, and I haven't had someone be like had the opportunity to chat with these guys until years later, where they go like, yo man, like, you were the fucking person that everyone then could go in and demand money. Yeah. Because you put your foot in the door. Yeah. You worked on the craft. You got your project in. Yeah. And you fucking made strides. So you gave us you almost gave us the green light to turn around to a label and say, well, we demand this now because that guy got that, you know?
Set the precedent.
Set the precedent. However, I know that also, back to the point, it was like, I think that, the first one through the door cops the fucking heat, right?
Oh, man, it's like the firstborn child. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're figuring out what the fuck to do, and then the second kid tends to get a bit cruisier, and then if there's a third, then
bro, coast. Like, you literally just describe my fucking family. Like,
it's me. I'm the baby boy, bro. I'm out here. I got my skates on.
The crazy thing is like, you look at the focus, man, and like, it is crazy. Like, I look at my sister's probably the most stable, mentally, to be able to navigate shit, you know. But yeah, I had to make a lot of fucking, I don't want to say mistakes, but just had a lot of learnings to get through, you know. So yeah, bro. So it's crazy, bro. Figgkidd. That's a bit of a loaded response, but you know the vibes.
Nah, man. Fuck. Well, I guess we'll loop back to that, but I want to go like back. Let's go back to the very start of it all. So were you born and raised in Sydney? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So whereabouts? Where were you born?
Because I was born in Auburn.
Yep. West Side.
Shout out Auburn.
Yeah, bro. Like, fuck. If anyone ever questions my fucking authenticity with West, they can eat my fucking cock. Like, so deep. Like, I want it touching their stomach. It's fucking disgusting. Anyway, so I was born in Auburn, right? Yep. We moved pretty quickly to like Smithfield. My dad was a builder, so during his apprenticeship, he got land out there, and he built up a house. Yep. And then he was able to sell that, and then he decided to buy in Sefton for whatever reason. I don't know if you know what Sefton
Playhouse.
is. Yep. Okay. Oh, fuck, that's the only reason. Anyone ever knows why?
Actually, the reason I know Sefton is because Crockers. That's where we used to get our paint from. So shout out Crockers paint and wallpaper over there. They stocked
right next to the station. No,
just around the corner from the station. Yeah, they had the entire Iron Lac range. They used to have like the old T-shirts. They were kind of one of the first.
That's why TPC crew, bro. There's some of those cunts just fucking ran rampant through those lines.
That whole line, yeah. Fucking know. That
it was insane. Like back in the day, bro. Like where I went to school.
Oh, I'm sure. Like
Bonds, you know Bonzi?
Bonds.
BONS.
Oh yeah.
Bro, Bonds was like a fucking superstar. I was starstruck. I did like a festival, and I'll get back to the point in a sec. But I did a festival recently, and I saw that guy painting, and I was like, yo, that's like, I was like that guy. Like, yo, that's Bonds right there. Yeah. Like that cunt was like on everything. What do we need to do?
That's a good question. I don't know what I did. Maybe just unplug it, replug it. Yeah. Fuck.
So.
Yeah, graph's funny like that, man. When you meet someone, or if you like, even if you don't meet them, but you just kind of like fuck, we had it countless times, like down at Kashula, like at the tanks there. Like you'd see someone painting, and you're like, oh fuck, that's that cunt.
That's
like
that
you've
guy.
heard so many. We're chatting with Mike Pompey about this recently as well. Like it's just there's so many rumors. It's such a gossipy thing for how fucking street and how like
but you know I sort of understand it, right? Because like there is a lot of non face-to-face time, so there's a lot of assumptions, there's a lot of like he said she said, because the whole culture is built off like anonymity. So even guys that I know that are the maddest cunts, like I'm sure that they get slandered because of, I don't know, maybe how they approached a wall or how they approached a fucking paint situation. You know, they cap someone, or they, you know, just, and they might have had good reason or whatever, but it's like, you know, it's sort of like they don't get to stand there and justify themselves. They just got to cop whatever comes with it, and that's part of the culture. The other thing that's crazy about painters, bro, is like it's the same as us. It's like, as an MC, and it was crazy because I was watching his Drink Champs with Matt Hoffa like literally last night to like 3 a.m. But it was crazy because like he's so into the battle culture, like the current battle culture. Like he's sort of like Matt Hoffa is like a battle legend, right? With, you know, like Murder Mook and like Disaster, and like these guys are like peak guys now, like real kings, where they get they get the fucking bag for it. But to a point where they remember bars of other dudes in battles that were like back in the day. Yeah. And it's like they'd remember one fucking bar that annihilated a cunt. Yeah. And like pretty much word for word, and that battle was 3 years ago. Yeah. But it's so imprinted. So same with painters, they're like, bro, I've had people go, because I used to put up Ruckus, right? And I've had people that, yo, Ruckus, and I'm like, because I put that up for 6 months. I'm not a painter. Like Ruckus was, because I used to draw for Ticker, who was part of, like, he used to run with TPC, and he was my neighbor. And so when he was putting it up, he'd be like, yo, I can't sketch for shit in terms of like cartoons, and just so I want to start putting some character stuff in. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, I was like, that's, you know, I do the cartoons, so, and they're bold lines, so it'd be easy to paint. So I'd draw for him, and then he'd be like, all right, cool. So I'll put it up, and then like I'll throw you up as well. Yeah, Matt. Just sort of props, whatever. Yeah. So then people would be like, fuck, who's this guy? And then like, but I wasn't anyone. Like I wasn't even painting. I was working on the fucking DMC shit. So yeah. Anyway, so I moved to Sefton. It's good. It's good. Anyway, so I moved to Sefton. I was like 2. And yeah, man, I lived in a little cul-de-sac. It was pretty dope. Had some
Grove Street for life.
What?
Like cul-de-sac.
Oh yeah. So you know, went to school in Sefton. You know, a lot of people know me as being from Bankstown, and that's from my high school years, because I went to De La Salle there. Yep. Now La Salle. And that's when you know, that's when shit changed. I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen? Man, I'm the documentary guy now that I'm thinking about it, so it's a bit funny. But it's have you seen Once Upon a Time in Cabramatta?
I have actually. Yeah. Okay. I remember seeing it as it aired on was it SBS? Yeah, a few years ago. Yeah. Great, fucking really good.
It was really well put together. The reason I touch on that though is because you know how we were just talking about not understanding a perspective because of how old we were at the time. Yeah. But then understanding why it was how it was. Yeah. Because bro, some of the shit that I saw back then, you know, like stabbings, shootings, like I seen cunts' heads get split open with metal bars and then be the wrong person. You know, I seen, you know, the coke game get fucking massive. You know, graffiti was violent. You know, it was really like volatile, right? Yeah. And it was like,
and you're seeing that like firsthand as like,
not like secondhand or hearing about it, like guys pissing blood like right there, right? Or like, you know, like old mate got stabbed on the day that you were at school, like you know, and you know, the dude gets expelled because he went on the news and he was like, yeah man, like fucking people get stabbed here, like it's a thing, like we take, you know, this is a fucking Catholic school and knives are daily, you know. I remember sitting in business studies in the demountable down near the Oval, and you know, I'm sitting there in business studies, and one of the homies, we were sitting in the back, and we used to just sketch up, whatever. One of the homies was just like, yo, check this out. He was a funny guy, bro, like cracked me the fuck up. Like, and he was just like, yo, fucking, this guy had an axe in his bag. like an axe,
And he wasn't
like a
allowed to
tool, right? Not like, you know, like this guy's like an axe. And I'm like, I was like, yo. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, that is like other, like butterfly knife, cool. Like a little shank, like I get it. Like, you know, like it's just something to
taser,
keep
something.
people off.
Yeah.
But like, are you
Lumberjacks
trying
must
to fucking chop a cunt down? Like literally like a stump.
Yeah, you going
You
to
know?
the Easter show, bro? What's going
Yeah,
on?
like what? Yeah, what's going on? So that was the sort of, but we'd laugh it off. Now that you think back about it, and then you see something like Once Upon a Time in Cabramatta, and then because I was really at Bankstown, but Bankstown and Livo on that line at that time was sort of like one and the same. Like you'd be at Livo a lot of time, you'd be at like Caramel Cabra.
They're not far, right? It's like what, two, 3 stops from.
No, it is. It's relatively far, but it's not. It's only like 15, 20 minutes, you know. But it wasn't a good line to be at. You know, you had to be careful. Like very easy to get jumped on the train. You're like you couldn't wear nice hats and shit. And if you did, I remember one time being at Regio and like I had this dope Indians hat with a big embroidery on it.
Fresh.
And I was with my sister. We just gone to Bankstown just to get some whatever. And I remember holding this hat, and I saw these boys. I'm like fucking reading the play. I'm like, all right, with my sister, I can't really punch on. So like, there's like four or five lads here, and I'm like, fuck, I got this dope hat. So like, I took it off and actually like held the snapback, like, do you know what I mean? Like tight, because I'm like, yo, these guys are scoping me. Like they want, like they're gonna try something. And then the cunts just they fucking played me because I was watching them come through the top. The cunt came at the bottom, and I had my hat like tucked like that, and they just fucking like just ripped it so hard that the strap just came out and they just fucked off. I'm like, fuck, that was my hat, man. Like, and I was like tempted to get off, and I'm like, nah. And then I remember some big cunt just going like, yo, they just take your hat. I'm like, yeah, let's go back, beat the fucking shit out of these cunt. And I'm like, I'm with my sister, man. Like, I got to take her home. Like, but that was just normal. And then that Once Upon a Time in Cabramatta really painted a bit more of a picture because, bro, like it was basically straight up. It was like the Lebanese were big in Bankstown and like Shalora Greenacre, right? And you know they'd have some boys and some badass fucking older brothers who were into some shit. Then you'd have like Cabra and out to Livo. You know, Cabra more specifically was like Vietnamese.
Yeah,
but
because that's where a lot of, and that's what it touches on in the doco too. That's where like a lot of people were settled during the whole
we
like
didn't know
Vietnam.
that. We didn't know that, bro. Like what was so crazy. Like I think back of it and like being actually scared of like how like unnerving some of these kids' eyes were. Like
Seeing some shit.
Well, yeah, and like they'd stab you and they wouldn't blink. Like they wouldn't blink, bro. They don't smile. They don't, you know, they were really dead inside almost, and like you didn't understand why, but you just maneuvered accordingly. And then you look at all the shit that went down. Like first political assassination in Australian history happened in Cabramatta. Yeah, right. Right, because a Vietnamese person was going for the seat of the area, and the only other dude was a white guy. Yeah, right. So there was the racial tension was real, but we kids.
How could you have that? And that's why docos like that are so important. Because
that's
it gives you that overarching perspective,
and it helps you educate yourself on why. Like that's helped me understand a lot more about myself, so I don't have to fucking go hard at, you know, trying to understand myself. Like I know that I'm now like I'm just a product of the environment, you know. So that's like sculpted a bit of my attitude. So anyway, so they were pretty formative years, obviously, because then I was like really exposed to hip hop. Hip hop was fucking changing. Was
there someone that like showed you hip hop, or how did you kind of, or were just people just bumping at school and shit?
It was just fucking part of the environment, you know. Like mixtapes were going around. Like, remember Fresh Prince was a commercial. Like it started getting on the radio. Snoop Dogg, you know, a couple of my mates' older brothers. You fucking have, you know, Chronic and And the thing was, and like this is one thing that I couldn't stand having to justify because I used to rap in the American accent, la la la. But anyway, but one thing is like, you know, back then, like people don't know, Australian rap did not really identify with the shit that we were seeing. Nobody can fucking tell me otherwise, right? I even had like SOs be like, you know, and he's from Campbelltown, mind you, right? But because they were known for being where Jonathan's from, really, which was like Mossman, like I couldn't hear someone like SO as much fucking love and respect I have for brother. Like he's the man, right? Yeah. Because I admire how himself he is, like to a point where it makes other people uncomfortable because they're like, man, I fucking almost wish I could be that confidence, right? Yeah. And like he like, so I couldn't even really hear it from like someone like Esso, who I had the utmost respect for, because like I was like, yo, but you guys are from Mossman, G. Like, you can't tell me that Tupac isn't talking to me and Biggie isn't talking to me and Snoop isn't talking to me more than Mass MC's talking to me, more than Lazy Grey's talking to me, because you guys are all talking about foundational culture, right? You're not talking about, well, you are talking about lifestyle, but you're talking about graffiti, you're talking about breaking, DJing. I can't rub 2 cents together to be able to afford to get a mic. I don't even know where to start. We rap in the street, we rap to each other, we write it on paper, it's all loose leaf, it's hand to hand, it's mixtapes. I sit up till 2 a.m. to fucking press record and play on my CD player to hand the tape to my homie that fucking gave me maybe a $5 so he could have the album. You know what I mean? Like, so we were not equipped.
Yeah.
Right? So
Ill-equipped.
Yeah.
we were certainly ill-equipped. That's the zinger.
The first one
we
I've
set
got.
that up.
That's
We
that's
knew
going on.
it was coming.
Instagram is coming.
But so like they couldn't tell me not to flow how I flowed, because my, all my content was given from people in the States, where it just sounded more familiar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, fuck, and there's no reason to say that that's the wrong route now. Like, I mean, Leroy's a perfect example of that. Like, he's 16 now?
Yeah, but I saw some ignorant shit he said on the fucking on a fucking podcast.
But I guess at the same
I understand
I
understand that, but this is where I think our system's letting us down in some regards, right? Is because, like, fundamentally, right, the reason why we haven't popped off is because our identity is still like sucking the sack of the States, for the most part, right? And when I say that, we're not proud, and we're not confident, and we're not established enough from a commercially viable level, right, to be like, well, we're getting there. 1-4 hefts. These guys are unashamedly, they don't give a fuck if they're outside of Doonside or Mount Druitt.
chilling it.
They don't give a fuck if they're not out of their postcode. As long as they're repping for their fucking postcode, because they don't give a fuck what, like, if Drake came, like, and it's always utmost respect, but if these guys come to Mount Druitt, they talk to 1-4. If these guys go to Doonside, they talk to hefts. If they fucking go to fucking, Hurstville, they talk to Chill, right? They go to Newcastle, they talk to Tala. Like, because these guys are fucking genuine reppers of their of their shit, right?
Yeah.
Have they gotten influence? Absolutely. But it's only attributed to their style, right? And like, I mean, I look at the UK as a measuring stick, right?
Yeah.
And I say, those guys, like, maybe 10, 15 years back, are basically where we're at now, right? Where we're like unashamedly Australian. And if Australian hip hop only ever pops off in Australia, we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
We'll get our streams here. We'll make our money here. We'll do our shows here. And yeah, cool. If you want to fucking book us, fuck, we're there with bells on, and we will rep, but we will rep unashamedly Australian, because we don't need you dictating how our fucking lifestyle is. Yeah. And that's why I feel as though the biggest fucking satisfaction I get right now is seeing all the brown homies get their fucking day, bro.
Yeah, man.
Because the thing that was frustrating for a long time was because, like, for me particularly as an MC, I'd say something, but like when you're white and you say that, it's like, yeah, but you're white. Yeah. And like, bro, because I understand culture and I understand systematic racism and all that sort of stuff, I'm not mad about that. Yeah. I live this shit. I don't need to justify it to someone, because I don't need to justify it to any of my fucking homies that are fucking Pacific Islander, fucking African, fucking Vietnamese, whatever. Yeah. I don't need to justify it. The homies know, right? But the biggest satisfaction is when I see Indigenous like Nookie, like Kobe, like Briggs, like, like all these guys get their fucking platform in their day where they can actually say, yo, eat a dick. We actually now got a voice. Yeah. That's our voice. Right, you can't actually say shit. And bro, even I've got people in my inbox. I got people from, like, I'll give you an example. This is what I love. This is where I get my, like, yo, this is dope. I got people from DC where I've got relationships with people in the States. They're like real close people, and I've got like 1 degree of separation with some fucking artists, right? But when I got a homie from like over there, goes, hey, such and such is in Melbourne now. He's based in Melbourne. You did that show with him in DC back when you and Ello came out. Can you connect with him and just put him in a couple of directions, right?
Yeah.
When I hit this dude up and I'm like, yo, I just want to know who you're with at the moment, because that'll give me a good gauge.
Yeah.
This guy said to me, because Kobe's my guy, right? And I know Kobe's like, he's my guy that I love for a number of reasons, right?
Yeah.
Skill and all that's first and foremost, right? When I saw him at the Lansdowne on that Nookie show and he spat track that he still hasn't released yet about that chick.
Is that the like two and a bit?
It was a Nookie and Friends.
Yeah,
I think it was like the first one,
yeah.
right?
We were talking about it yesterday, yeah. And Leroy was there that night.
Leroy was there that night.
It was the first time he played.
And when I saw Kobe that day, like, bro, you didn't have to tell me anything else. I was like, young, good-looking kid, fucking is talking some shit that cunts need to hear. He hit, bro. I was like, I was like standing at the back and tunnel vision on that guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm a massive fan, right? But when I have a guy from DC telling me that Kobe's his favorite guy here, right?
Yep.
And Kobe is indigenous. Kobe is fucking from the block, right? He's from the fucking area. He's around the corner,
it's real.
right?
Yeah.
He's telling unashamed stories of the reality here.
Yeah.
And he's doing it with fucking flow and quality. And then so for someone for the fucking birthplace of hip hop turns around to me and be like, yo, Kobe's a dude. I'm like,
Man, fuck yeah.
the world, and so to circle back and I'm always like, I try to over contextualize what I say these days because otherwise can't fuck it up. But I look at someone like Leroy saying some ignorant shit and I go, where that young indigenous kid has been let down is that like he hasn't been allowed to see his, like to really, I feel, develop like his scope to maneuver, because he's in a fucking seat right now.
It's a hard spot to be in too, man. Like,
it is, like, for anyone,
16,
for a 20, 30-year-old, it's a hard spot to be in.
Bro, the biggest thing I was doing when I was 16 was trying to break how many times I jerked off in one day. Straight up. And I got above 10, so shout out me at 16 for that.
Fuck, you are.
But do you know what I mean? I was trying.
That is levels,
levels, bro. We out here.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like to have that seat.
That's
to be
fucking,
on,
that's baby kid syndrome, right? You had the fucking path laid.
Boom.
Yeah, but for sure.
Stay lubed up, bro. I'm ready. But that's a crazy position to be in. Like I can't even think. Like even at fucking 26, like to be on a platform like No Jumper, or,
Juice WRLD as well.
Do you know what I mean? To be having been asked these questions, and
I'm gonna
I guess there's no right or wrongs too. Like fuck, like all love to him, man. He's fucking killing it. Like
I'll never discredit. Same way Figgkidd got that leg in the door and made that. I suppose it's probably a personal frustration where I see so much promise in a kid that even if you have to go down the route of maybe not being uniquely enough to really translate a fucking strong Australian Indigenous message, right? Cool, because you're very young for that. Like, you do know about it, but to say it on a platform is very hard. So, but I just feel like we've got enough knowledge collectively between some of the older guys in the scene and some of the guys that are responsible for dealing with these or like, I don't want to say grooming. I feel like that's got a negative connotation, but it's like, like equipping them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
soundbite.
And I feel like it's like, yo, what can we do to ensure that when he goes out, not only is he equipped as an artist, but he's knowledgeable as a young man. He's respective of foundations that have been put in place for him here. Because bro, straight up, he was saying some shit that like wasn't even relevant now. It's almost felt like he was getting told stuff to say, or he's heard something, and then he's just sort of like tried to make it relevant to him. Like he's like, yo man, like, yeah, but when I was coming up, this kid's like what, 16? Song. Yeah, talk about barbecues. No. Mass MC did the barbecue song before you were born.
I fuck with that song still.
Shout out to Mass MC.
Shoot me down.
But what I'm saying is, so like he's he's still putting out there a point that now in Australian hip hop, if you really know what you're talking about,
really
hasn't been relevant for a very long time. Since Oz hip hop forums, which have been dead and null and void since God knows when, right? So it's sort of like, yo, kid, like, while I understand your frustration personally, it's not a frustration that's there. And if you were really about our culture here and was in it long enough, you'd actually be able to turn around to that interviewer and be like, yo, so why do you do like this, and be like, yo, I maneuver like this because this is me. But yo, there's some hectic shit happening right now in my hometown. Like, rather than be like, yo, fuck Australian hip hop, I don't feel it. Be like, yo, there's the only Australian hip hop while I'm on this platform. Let me tell you to your fucking camera.
Yeah.
Kobe D, Nookie, Briggs, bro.
Yeah.
Shout it out that like you don't know about it because you fucking don't know about it.
Yeah.
But if you come to my town, there's people you need to know about.
Yeah.
Rather than, yo, bro, they're fucking bunch of whack cunts down
Who
there.
knows, man? That's one interview in the timeline of like
100%.
on the trajectory on he's on as well. Like, who knows? Who knows? Like when, fuck.
I suppose I'm putting it out there because like if some
and
cunt hears that to say like, yo, you know what? That's actually a sort of a point.
Yeah.
Like everybody here, love it or hate it, they want Leroy to win.
Yeah.
Right? For
100%.
all of us, right? And so, like, the stronger he is, of course, he's going to be learning.
Yeah.
So if we can get any message to him to like fucking rep us and rep us, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, because you are the man.
Yeah.
Your foot in the door. You're crazy talented.
Yeah.
Right. So be equipped with the other side of it because you know we all fucking know what's talent got to do with the music industry. Really,
that might come. That he might. Might get humbled on that. It might just be something that he naturally gets into. It's or it might just be something that as he gets older, he feels like just he wants to have more of a connection back to that. But
yeah, it's that's the other thing.
And it's just I think it's an age thing too. Like even
age,
say
right.
like chilling it when he was doing the
battles
Fire
in the park.
Yeah, bro, they're hectic. I was watching them recently actually. No, but like Fire in the Booth, for example, like at the end, like Charlie Sloth's asking him, like, you know, what's going on in Oz at the moment, and he shouts fucking the Australian scene out hard. So
and I suppose that's you're right, like you know, with that maybe that age and that little bit of experience, you know, like that. Because man, I remember, and Chill's been on that for a while, where like a couple of years, where he was like, yo, he's like, man, I remember him a couple of years ago posting like, it's at a stage now where my playlist actually is nothing but Australian hip hop or Australian music, and like I'm actually at a point now where my listening can be just here. Like he says that, right? And I think that's probably a little bit more leaning on where I'm sort of going with it. You know, like he's had time to simmer in that, and so he can turn around and say,
and he's been coming up with it and growing with other artists and like,
shout out to Tal Clay.
Yeah, man, fucking knows. Shout out Tal. But yeah, jumping back to so where were we? Well, Cabramatta, Sefton, high school, and then
rap.
So when did you really start taking rap more seriously? Like what?
It's hard to say that because
what era is this as well? Like as
90s.
90s.
So I started high school in 92.
Yeah.
Wait, I finished in 99. So what's that? 93. Whatever. It's 6 years.
Yeah.
I finished in 99. So my years there were really fucking like Snoop, Park, you know, Dre, Biggie, you know, Rakim, Nas, Buster,
Outcast, the whole.
Outcast, it's like everyone. That's who we were. This is when like MCing started taking a real turn. You know, it wasn't commercial like ping pong, ding dong, ling long. It's like it was like, you know what I mean? Like
The huff, the hippity huff.
it was like structure.
Big Willie style.
Okay, so we're putting testicular, perpendicular, and ling long ding. No, okay, got it. But one thing still was okay. So I'm listening to American hip hop, and American hip hop was still very black, right? Yeah. And so initially it was just a labor of love. Like it was like really just passion. And I was about 14 when I started like writing raps and just rapping along. Yep. Like, you know, just spitting rhymes, getting them tight. I was always sort of musical. I always sang since I was young. Yep. So I started doing music in year 11. So that's 97? 98. And I didn't play an instrument, so I had to do voice. Yeah. So I was literally singing, right? I was singing like fucking R&B, 112, Brandy, fucking, you know, like all this shit.
Hell yeah.
You know, Blackstreet. Shout out to Teddy Riley. you see that shit? Fucking babyface. Murdered the guy. Technical difficulties. Anyway, so I was doing that, but I still couldn't, like, being taken seriously. You know, I wasn't in the foundational hip-hop shit, so I wasn't a breaker, I wasn't a graph guy, I wasn't, you know, out and about. Like, I was still relatively young. I was incorporated in the culture, you know, but I wasn't in the like the breaking scene and the Death Wish cast scene and the Brethren and like, so I was too young for it.
Yeah,
it's so funny because a lot of my peers are actually guys that are at the time they're actually quite, now they're not that much older than me because it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
But they're like in their 40s.
Yeah.
I still haven't hit 40. So my peers back then were too old for me to really be out and about doing what they were doing. So I was really just stuck in my bubble. And so like at 14, I was writing it. When I started to get to like the age where I could probably go out and start getting a bit of a rep, I was going to like clubs that were like hosted by like African American dudes that were playing only American hip hop. So like to get on the mic there was still actually a judgment of like, yo, who's a skinny little white kid trying to get on the mic? Like, it's not.
And also you've got a certain audience there too that like, if you would come in with some like Death Wish cast style bars like AUS down or something, they're going to be like,
it was so grating to their ears as well, right? And
that's the classic thing with Australian hip hop. I just don't like the accent. But like, obviously that's shifting now. But yeah, like
absolutely. But you're spot on, right? So they didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But I flowed American anyway. So for me, then I'd get on the mic, and then these like African American like homies that were like running the clubs, they were like, yo, you're actually fucking nice, right? So I did that, and then like some promoters that like couldn't really care less whether or not I was here or there, as long as I could, do the bars. Then Good Bar became a thing. Step Forward. So shout out to Slingshot Trent Road and Nick Toth, Cool Hand Luke, Trey, Maya, Baby Kane, like all the guys that made that night successful, because that was a bit of a turning point. Every Wednesday night, I think it was, you'd go down and it was up at fucking Good Bar. And bro, that place was fucking pumping. It was American hip hop. The crowd was well mixed, and they'd have like these ciphers where like if you didn't have skills, that's where I met Mr. Clean. He fucking ripped me in a battle, just started eating the shit out of me, like just fucking rah. I had fucking a couple of like bars for him, and then we just like dapped it up and just that's it. But so I sort of started getting the reputation, but that's when then I started to see in the late sort of 3/4 through late 90s, that's when I started to see, oh, hang on a minute, there's a fucking massive divide here that I never knew about. I've been flowing since I was 14. I'm now like 18, so I've been flowing like this for like 4 years and developing it. And then here's guys telling me that I can't do it like that, but they don't speak my language, not from where I'm from. And people that are from where I'm from respect what I do, so I don't really, I was in that same mentality, I don't care what you say. Yeah. Right? So that's sort of how I came up. My first actual paid MC gig, I was like 16 or 17. And do you remember Crush? Have you ever heard of that?
Crush.
Do you remember Sega World?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Crush was this massive under 18s, bro. It was fucking bananas. It would be mayhem these days because
maybe I do remember Crush.
it was like
Darling Harbour, eh?
Yeah, it was the biggest dance party, bro, under 18s, and it was
like a coke dance kind of.
Bro,
Huh? Do you have coke dances and like blue light discos and all
blue
that
light
kind
disco?
of shit?
It was like a blue light disco on like the Arnold Schwarzenegger steroids of
the
fucking
days.
bro. You would rock up. It was like all free games, free rides, and there was like high energy room, techno room, R&B, hip hop room, right?
Yeah.
And shout out to DJ Hamish, and he they did the MC that was on there, Georgie K. He did a freestyle comp. He's like, all right, cool. Like, get a few MCs out. Now, me, I'm concentrating on my bars. Anyone else is just freestyling fucking garbage, right?
Yeah.
So here's me with like fucking like 24 bar verses and fucking
just shelling.
Right. And so my shit's calculated, and at the time I'm like heavy, like I'm sort of like this mix between trying to fucking bar out like Wu-Tang and on some conscious shit mixed with like fucking Mace and like Puff Daddy. It was wild. So I won a competition, and they were like, he won by, and then so he turned around and was like, yo man, like Georgie can't actually MC. After a couple of times, he's like, he can't MC anymore. So like, do you want to MC? And I was making $120 for that night.
Fuck yeah.
And at that time, I was working 3 days in my job to get that money.
Yeah.
So,
were you under Figgkidd at this point?
Well, yeah, because I called myself Fig, and then in a rap I was like, "Yo, it's Figgkidd."
Yep.
And then it was just like, so I was like, "It's Figgkidd," and I was like, "Yeah, Figgkidd, whatever." I was like, "Well, I'm fucking white, and like, fuck, it's rap, like, fuck, it's like I'm never gonna make it anyway." So I'll just use a dumbass name that no one else is gonna use, like, Method Man was sort of dope, like Figgkidd is sort of dope, like whatever.
Yeah. What was the? How did you get Fig? Was that just?
No, fuck, bro. I don't even know.
Do you like figs?
No.
Oh, they're dead.
Shout
It was
out
like
figs.
figgy, jiggy, fig. I don't know. It was just.
It's easy to rhyme with, eh?
Yeah, it was just I don't know. Fucking
Figgy.
big fig. I don't know. Whatever. Just
Yeah.
came off.
Yeah,
So
just-
it was
just a
it was
name.
just dumb.
Yeah.
Right. I put 2 G's for fuck's sake. Like what with 2 D's? Like what?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Fuck
then
your
they were
grammar.
like, so what do you want on the flyer?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, fuck it, Figgkidd.
Yeah.
They're like, all right. And then I got my rep of Figgkidd. Then I couldn't stop after that. Like then after that, it was just game on.
Yeah. So what was the jump from that? So you're doing your MCing like local shows and everything. How did that jump to then getting signed, going overseas? Because was that the next? Would you say it's the next chapter, or was that?
No, there's a couple of years still between that and that. So basically, I was in a crew called The Outfit, and that was me, Baby Kane, and this other MC, one of my really good friends, coming up playing ball. Actually, her name's Kimikaze. She's like a fucking 4 foot nothing.
Kamikaze. That's a fucking mad.
Yeah. She was. I'm surprised no one's done it since.
Yeah.
Especially like her
And
name was
mate
Kim as well.
Used to call you Charade Sharari, and I was like, that's the best. Like is it Mitsubishi Charade?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
Sharari.
Shirari.
It was fucking.
I love those little like play on words and shit. So anyway, so I was in this crew and it was like me, Naps, who was like South African homie, Kimmy, who was just like little 4 foot nothing, Philo, who was rapid fire,
Yeah.
and then myself. So we're like, and then Baby Kane, who was from Chicago, and he's still around. Damon, his name is. So anyway, I was doing the under 18s. I then went to like the promoter that did the under 18s did a club. The DJ from the under 18s was DJing there, so he said come down and do this club. I had gotten a bit of a rep at that stage. I was still 17, but I was hitting the club under my cousin's ID, and I went in there. The MC's there, Baby Kane. He saw me. He was like, "Yo, you're dope." But then at this other club, he saw me and the homies do our set, and he was like, "Yo, he sort of took us under his wing."
Yeah.
He was like, "Yo, you guys are fucking hectic. Let's all be a crew." So the outfit was, Baby Kane, Figgkidd, Kimikaze, and Naps. So it was us 4, and Kane was, because at that time, it was a lot easier for him to get gigs and MC gigs and stuff, because he's from Chicago, you know what I mean? Like he's fucking got the associations, right?
Yeah.
So, and he was fucking dope. And he was actually ended up being on my first Figgkidd album. But he then went up in Brisbane and he met up with these guys called Flavors Radio Show, so FRS International. And they had just come off like a falling out, but they were pretty much like Brisbane's version of us. So that was like fucking Flip, Chapel, Bishop, Louis Loco was their DJ, and he could MC as well. So then we became this like Brisbane, Sydney collective, Chris Style. Anyway,
cool.
So shout out to the whole fucking Brisbane crew. Actually, Flip and Clinton, one of the homies, they actually run, Laced?
Yeah.
So they run, that's their
dope.
store, right? So
Fuck yeah.
crazy associations, right? So anyway, so then we were this collective, and we were doing shows. We'd go up and do a little bit of Brisbane show. I'd go up there, stay with my girlfriend. We'd stay in the thing. We'd just be fucking in the fucking cupboard with the mattress and the fucking SM58 down with the fucking coat hanger and the fucking stocking for the popper stopper.
DIY.
And we're recording this demo shit, burning it on CD, fucking, pressing the sticker on there so it looks like a CD. Crazy. And then, so we were doing that. And then Kane was, because he was a bit older, and again, he had like a few connections, and he was like in like more pockets of scenes of entertainment. He knew Louis, who, massive shout out to Louis, man, and like, fuck, I can't sing her praises enough, but I'll get to that. He knew Louis, who was like a singer, who was starting up a studio, and they'd worked together. I was doing demos with Eric Sebastian, who was like Black Fang Wolverines, him and Alan, or A-Dub. So he was down at Brighton. Kane sort of worked with them. He introduced me there. So I was doing these little demos over there. But then Kane was like, yo, let's go to this Louis chick because she's starting this label and I think it'll be a good pitch. So we all went down there, bro. Like crew was fucking deep, right? It was, like I said, so fucking Figgkidd, Baby Kane, fucking Kimikaze, Naps, Chapel, Bishop, fucking Crystal, Loco, Flip. So there was like, it was the Wu-Tang Clan shit, right? Like we rolled in there and straight up, like Louis loved this. This is exactly why Louis was Louis. She turned around to us and was like, yo, this isn't going to work. How the fuck am I supposed to do a fucking half African American, half I think he's like Hispanic fucking dude from Chicago, white cunt from Bankstown, Philo from Lidcombe, fucking South African from like Concord,
Yeah.
then all you guys from fucking Brisbane, like logistically,
Yeah.
not gonna work, right? So we're like, all right, fuck police, fuck yeah. You know, like we didn't care. We were just like, whatever, we're gonna fucking make
Can't
it
stop
anyway.
us. Yeah.
Can't stop, yeah. It's like unstoppable, the train. Anyway, so we were like fucking around, whatever. We were all working at day jobs at the time. I was working at Athlete's Foot. And I get a call from her one day. And she just goes, yo, look, I've been listening to your guys' demos. And she was an independent. And she was like, yo, you know, I'm thinking about it. And okay, the reason why I started to able to put my foot in this like American pocket was because of Eminem.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, if you were a skilled white MC, you had a little bit more of a leeway.
Yeah.
I'd already been putting in yards, so I had respect face to face. So you couldn't say that I couldn't hold it down. But then on a bigger scale, people started to just change their perceptions. Like, oh, well, you know, but immediately, if you're white and an MC, you were Slim Shady.
And was there a bigger, like, he's like, I mean, I was too young to, I guess, understand the gravity of it. Like, like when it was first happening, but I was just caught up in the pop culture side of it. Like, Eminem was one of my introductions into hip hop. Like, just caught in that way. But like, that must have been, he's like, fuck, like Michael Jackson, fucking Tony Hawk. Like, just that, like the
magnitude.
Like the level that hit.
It was crazy to see this guy get this cosign. Like, it was utterly worldwide for any hip hop actual enthusiast.
Yeah.
And the one thing I fucking hate about Australia, they don't understand the culture. They can't understand how we can live it in this fucking white, fucking washed country, right?
Yeah.
How can you understand? It's like, I don't fucking understand what it's like to be black. I'll never fucking say that, right? I can't.
Yeah.
Right? Because I understand that I'm fucking white. I understand systematic racism. I understand all that shit, right? But what they're saying is what I see, so I have a fucking respect for it.
Yeah.
More than you do, obviously. So when he got that co-signed by like Dre and this fucking like, it was like, and then not to mention he was fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, he was so good. He was doing things different. His patterns were good. He was obviously so obsessive about like showing up and proving that he knew he had to take MC to another level.
Yeah.
And he did his yards. He fucking battled Rhymefest, and he was in the battles, you know, like he came up in the scene, like he did his yards, right? So he was able to hone a craft and take it to a level and give people and give people like, yo, I'm fucking skilled as an MC, but I'm also going to be unashamedly white. But I'm not, not in a conceited, fucking egotistical, like I'm better than anyone way. It's just like, yo, I'm actually the arse end of white, and that's okay.
Trailer Park.
He wrote mad stories though as a white fella, in rap. You know what I mean?
Well, he so much so that even
Easy
like
was doing that stuff, but then there was no
100%.
other white. Like Vanilla Ice was just a pop dude.
yeah,
You know,
and so, but like
Good
I think
songs.
the thing that was really a guide was like, even if black people didn't feel him or his music was maybe a bit like irky on them, they could respect, you know, what he was doing, and then some people could even relate, like some black like MCs or, you know, people in hip hop, right? They could relate. So it actually started to get like your Tech N9nes who were maybe not in the
Maybe
like
not
the
trap
hip hop
and-
culture. Like they're from he's from the Midwest, so he's not like back in the day. He wasn't like, you know, all those Midwest guys. They're a different breed of hip hop.
Yeah.
Right. So they couldn't get into like East West Coast shit because they're Midwest.
Yeah.
Right. So Tech N9ne actually didn't fit into that. Right. So he fit into more like a. Oh, bang bang bang! All right. he was he like fit actually more on the Eminem side of, you know. So it just it started blending and changing things, and so the scope was then a lot broader. So it was slightly easier. I mean, you still had to fucking rep.
And the comedy shit as well, like the funny
he
songs,
just
like that. I think that was fucking.
He changed it, and he put a spotlight on it because he'd say shit that maybe somebody else has said, but because you're a white kid, you're not supposed to say that. Like it was like, yo, like you of all people should understand. What?
Yeah.
You know. So anyway,
Anyone meets Dre as well. You're sweet.
Hey.
Anyone who
Yeah,
meets
just had
Dre.
the
Oh,
backing
like
of-
that cosign was
Yeah.
like you couldn't fucking pay for that. Like it was priceless.
Yeah.
So back to the thing. So she called me and she's like, "Yo, like I'm gonna be real with you. Your motley crew of individuals.
Yeah.
It's too hard for me to pitch because if I go to a label, there's no cohesiveness. It's so patchy that."
It's hard to sell the
The
vision,
label will
but-
just go, fuck, we don't even fuck with hip hop. So why
And
would we
there's-
fuck with hip hop that's such a chore?
Yeah.
She said, but you, because of the climate, Eminem's out, you're a white MC, it'll be a lot easier to say blah, 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 right? Like to pitch it to a label. It's, it's an easier pitch, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, because
And-
you're going to business people in this scenario. They're not.
Well, we didn't know
Hip-hop
that. So
heads,
to
yeah.
hear that perspective, like, we were like, oh, shit, well, we don't even think like that. So, I mean, that makes sense,
Yeah.
right? So, my only concern at that stage was like, yo, but the crew. Like, I can't neglect the crew,
Yeah.
right? And sure enough, she was like, yo, don't worry about that because, like, we can incorporate them on the album and da-da-da. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, cool, yes, fucking oath. Like, if I can get a
Open the
step
door,
up
yeah.
and whatever, then I'll put the homies on.
Yeah.
I turned around to the crew and did the courtesy thing, and I called him and was like, yo, Louise called me. She said this is the reason why she thinks it'd be a good idea for me to go solo for this deal, and then I'll bring everyone on.
Yeah.
And most particularly, Kane wasn't having it, and it put a bit of a divide in the crew.
Yeah.
And he was pretty pissed off because he made the connection, and
Yeah.
he wasn't in the deal. So it caused a
tough
bit of a
spot.
rift, you
Yeah.
know. There was also like this fucking massive brawl where we all got arrested in Pitt Street, and I had there was like I was talking to some dude's chick, but she said she was single. This guy was like, part of like some of the cuts I used to roll around Bankstown. So I had this massive fucking punch on. Kane came down, but I was like having a problem with one dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Kane, we all approached these guys in Pitt Street Mall, and Kane actually went and got this stick and really started to aggressively, because he was like, yo, the little homie got fucked up. So,
Yeah.
So let's
Sort it out.
sort it out. So, but he was really like, he's from Joliet. So he's from like fucking Chicago,
Yeah.
not Chicago.
Yeah.
Right. so he's really
Chi-town, baby.
so he's really like trying to fuck these guys up and like teach them a lesson. But these guys were like, yo, we don't actually have a problem with Lee. Lee's got a problem with the homie. So
Yeah.
we like, they weren't even like me and this guy
Just
getting at it.
Yeah.
All right. So
Cross
anyway,
lines,
so
yeah.
then it was me and a couple of guys, and then we're in this fucking massive scrap. But what's fucking crazy, they were getting into it because Kane like
Yeah, it was just
went
escalating.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
but no one was coming at me because everyone was, so I was sort of like trying to fucking get in and like, but there was no place for me in that fight because, and so like he was like, when we saw the footage, no charges were put on me, charges were put on like Kane and my boy, and then, we locked up just overnight. They let me go, and the Kane was like, yo, why don't you fucking step in on that? And I was like, bro, like I was fucking trying to get in on it, but no cunt was coming after me because like you were socking it, like he socked someone like straight up, right?
Yeah.
So that caused a massive rift. He was sort of like, yo, like I fucking love you like a little bro, and you sort of didn't, you like back
These
me
two,
up.
yeah.
And there was D's on the mall, so we like the fight wasn't long. It was like a matter of seconds, and it was shut down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, he already there was that, and then this whole solo thing, and so yeah, so that went off, and then we had a bit of a crack in the crew. That being said, though, Bishop was moving down from Brisbane, Chap was moving down from Brisbane, and to my word, I still put Kimmy on the album, I still put Bishop on the album, Chap was on the album.
Yeah.
Chapel went to LA with me to document a lot of the Figgkidd shit, so he was there with me for a month in LA, right? Fucking, it's crazy times. And
How old are you at this point? When
21,
So
dude.
did you
Shit.
it was mayhem, bro.
Jesus.
I was on the fucking Sony
of
credit
age?
card.
Of age.
Oh man, of age, and like fuck, even with those people, like, yeah. I was
So when
just
you
in on
was
everything.
was the deal to go there and record?
No, so what happened was, so I had this deal, but here's the thing. Everyone thinks that Figgkidd came... Bro, I worked on that album for 2 years. You got to remember, like, 18, 19 when I started that deal. So when I started that deal, I wasn't signed to Sony till, like, 2003.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when that deal happened, what happened was we go to the studio, and my life was this. This is when my rep started to like not decline, but I didn't seem as active.
Yeah.
Because my life was this. I was working at Athlete's Foot. I had to pay the bills, had to pay the rent. Right. And I said this, like I couldn't be out in the scene because I was a young kid paying my fucking bills, and every fucking moment I had, I was in the studio developing.
Yeah.
So I'd go from Liverpool, right? I finished work. I would catch a train. If I didn't have the car, I would catch a train to Crow's Nest, right? Well, St. Leonard's, walk up the hill to Crow's Nest. I'd fucking work on whatever tracks I had to work at. I'd be there till like maybe 2, 3 in the morning, either get home or stay there. Then I'd be back to Liverpool, right? To work my full-time job. So my whole thing was like work, record. So like Louis had all the connections, so she was buttering up the majors. Like, cool, we've got this kid, we're working on him. She'd get a photo taken of me. She'd fucking start to piece together all the shit that we didn't know nothing about, right? So like all the bio, she maybe look good, and she started to like groom.
She was building the
build the hype.
Yeah.
Bro, we had Carl Sandilands in the studio thinking of signing me. We had fucking Dicko from Australian Idol. He was in there.
Dicko.
We had Universal. We had Sony in there. Like, bro, we had the labels like really chomping at the bit because there was like, yo, Australia's Eminem basically is like how she was business pitching, right?
Yeah.
So that was that. We worked on it for 2 years. Kane sort of came back around. He got on the album. We did all that. And basically how it went down was we chopping away at it, and the album started to take some shape. Yeah. Probably about 2 or 3 songs off it, right? Probably had about 30 songs, but we're sitting probably about 12, maybe 9, 10.
Yeah.
So at that point, what happened was Pat Handlin, who's current A&R at Sony, I believe still. That's Dennis Handlin, the CEO's son.
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, okay. So he was 16 at the time. He was coming drinking up with us and all that sort of stuff because we were getting courted by Sony, right?
Yeah.
So he was at my house. Still got photos of Pat Handlin as a fucking kid with one of his homies, Kemp, like in my fucking apartment, like fucked up, right? So anyway, so what happened was we started developing. Pat was listening to my demo in the other room, and Dave Massey, who was like the head of Sony the States at that time, he was at Dennis's house, and he was like, "Yo, what's your son?" Well, not yo, but just, he's a fucking white dude. He's like, "Hey, what's your son listening to?" And I was like, "Oh, just this kid. We're thinking of signing." And he was like, "Yo, this is fucking hectic. Like, when can I like meet this kid?" And they're like, "Oh, really? We can make it happen today." Now, pause. In the interim, Louis randomly, right, because I've got all these Eminem comparisons, you know what she did, bro? While I was developing, she makes a phone call to fucking Shady Records because she was like, if he's getting compared to M, the only person that's going to be able to mix him, because he does have a similar timbre.
Yeah.
The only way we're going to be able to mix him, not like Eminem, is if we go straight to fucking Eminem's camp. So I want Eminem's mixer to mix my artist. Crazy. Like, what a fucking thought process. We're not even anywhere near the league of American hip hop, and that's what she's thinking. But she's just thinking sense, like, that makes sense,
that's
right?
It's
just
looking
fucking
into the future shit. Yeah.
Straight up. So she fucking makes a call to Shady Records, right? Hi, you've reached Marshall's line. Hi, you've reached Rosenberg's. She's just going, don't care about Marshall, don't care about this, don't care about that. Goes to, I think his name's Steve King, from memory, can't remember. So she hits that line. Joel Martin, who's has been Eminem's publisher since he was 14. Joel Martin, right? He's a behind the scenes. He's a fucking, like, he owns 8 Mile Style Publishing. Right. He hears this and he goes, "Hey, I'm curious to hear. You've just said he sounds like Eminem. I want to know how much like Eminem he sounds. Because for over there, bro, it's business.
Yep.
You know? So if that comes
past
money, your radar, they want to hear that." He hears it and he's like, "Yo, this is crazy. He actually sounds exactly like M when he was like in early stages."
Yeah.
But it's actually almost uncanny, so much that, can you just stay in touch with me? Because I'd be interested to see where this goes.
Yep.
So Louis maintained this relationship with Eminem's right hand for the whole, like, basically at least half of the development process of myself.
Yeah.
unbeknownst to me how much of a pivotal thing that would have been. I didn't know at the time. She's
Yeah.
just like, hey, I'm fucking talking to. I'm like, yo, that's fucking crazy.
Cool.
Anyway, let's record.
Yeah.
So later on, that was her fucking draw card. She was like, yo, I'm in with it. The Shady Camp, right? They know about my artist. I talk all the time. We're developing, like, so we're in this good spot.
Yeah.
Dave Massey hooks up this interview, and we're sitting down at Sony. We're in the boardroom, and he meets me, and like I've always been like this,
Yeah.
right? Like I've always been able to talk about like whatever, la la la. So when he meets me, I'm just myself, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, this kid, like he's about it. He's done his yards. I can sort of tell. And he's like, yo, he's like, are you performing? And we're like, hey, but matter of fact, performing tonight. I'm gonna give a massive shout out to my cousin because my cousin was doing a show down at the cave, and he was like, I'm putting this night on, can you perform just to give it a bit of bump? And I'm like, yes, it'll be a good time for us to just start rehearsing some tracks.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where shit gets crazy. Dave Massey is there. He's like, yo, you could perform. We're like, yeah, we're performing tonight. That's fine. Louis steps out. She's like, yo, we gotta fucking bump the fuck. We gotta make this look like you are the god, right? And I'm like, fuck, of course, man. This is make or break.
Yeah.
If we can't sell this, it's fucked, right?
Yeah.
So she's on the phone. She's like coming out of the pocket, be like, yo, we need a whole new sound system in there. This needs to be pristine sound. Like, if it's not pristine sound, I don't want to know about it.
Yeah.
So she's breaking fucking nuts getting this fucking shit in there, right? She's like, yo, here's $50 because it was credit at the time, right? Here's $50. You need to text message every single one of your friends, and you need to explain succinctly what the fuck is going down tonight.
Yeah.
Because if you do not, like, these guys need to be from you,
shit.
bro.
Yeah.
Every label started to find out about it, right?
Yeah.
We had every single label, like, basically what it was like a fucking, like, the fucking bat signal, right? Like, Sony's Dave Massey is going to be at Cave checking out Figgkidd.
Yeah.
You'd all be dumb cunts not to roll, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, there's VIP sections for all these fucking labels. All my fucking boys were there, and I'm already like, I'm established in retail world by this stage, so I've got all my retail connections. I've been playing basketball since I was 10, so I've got my basketball homies. I've been fucking in the rap game since it, so I've got, like, the place was packed. Cunts going nuts.
Communities coming together.
Straight up.
Yeah.
So they'll roll in there and paint this fucking picture that I'm fucking
Popping.
right? And look, was I popping like that? No. I was still developing, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't out. Like, I tried a few things, like, you know, like, and shout out to people like, you know, Trent at Slingshot when Globe was popping off, and, you know, he gave me a few opportunities to get up and do some shit, and, like, you know, there was still homies in the corner, but I wasn't popping like that at all.
Yeah.
So then Dave Massey comes down and goes, yo, like, said to Dennis, like, verbatim, like, yo, sign that kid. Like, you need to have a contract for that guy tomorrow. Louis goes to protect me. She goes, and, like, you know, this is all to interpretation, but she did it as a label deal, independent label deal. First cab off the rank, Figgkidd, right?
Yeah.
So within, like, I dare say a month, I was on fucking Sony.
Crazy.
And what was so surreal was, you know, my dad, like, he's like a carpenter by trade, but he does blinds and shit.
Yeah.
He was like, he was always like, yo, you're like, you know, like, you need to get your head out of the cloud sort of vibes.
Yeah.
So for me to, like, get that,
Get a real job.
get that job, or for me to get that deal, it was like, yo, like,
This is happening.
this is happening. I
Yeah.
gave him the pen. He still got it. The pen is like Figgkidd with the embroidery, engraved.
Mad.
So, like,
Will they give you a pen when, like, to sign
well, you
with?
can choose. You can either get a pen or something else. But, like, it's so funny because I chose the pen, but the pen was not the best option.
Mightier than the sword.
But straight up, that was how, like, I sort of thought of it. I was
Fucking
like, this
oath.
is like a token of, this is a
That's
commemorative.
what got you there.
Yeah, and it's like, and it was just, for me, it was very symbolic.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I did that. I took whatever, and then after that, it was like basically it was game on. So then it was like cool, and then Louis had all the connections with Joel. So that's why my homies now are like Segal, who has Grammys for, like, mixing and engineering, fucking Dre 2001, Marshall Mathers LP. Like, he did my mixing. That's how I met Dilated, and shout out to Rakaa Iriscience and Babs. Not as much Ev. I'm not down, like, don't know Ev as much, but they're the homies. That's how I met Tech. Shout out to fucking Tech. You know, that's how you know, I met Tech. And
I wish we had a Tech N9ne sample right now. Just Tech N9ne.
yeah.
That's where I met you.
What?
TECHNINE gig, remember?
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the
Fucking
day.
random. So Anyway, so we went over there, and then that's when that opened my eyes, and that's when I started to probably get a bit of resentment for how I was treated as an MC, because like I'd been putting in the work that the States guys put in.
Yeah. So this was 2003. You were saying?
Yeah.
So
No. By this stage, it was early 2004. By the time I was in the
cool.
States,
21.
21,
Fuck.
fucking, it just
Yeah.
crazy, right? So I was over there on that, like, bro, I was getting per diems. I was in a hotel in Beverly. I had a Mustang as a fucking drop top, like soft top Mustang in Cali. In bro, I can't tell you.
Talk to me. Tell me. I'm living it right now. I'm like,
Man, like, okay.
I'm gonna meditate on this later tonight.
It's crazy. Okay, so I go there and like straight away, like I'm immersed in the business, right? Because every day, like I get to meet Segal, and over there, like you chop it up, you get to know one another. Then you're in the studio every day. They're mixing your shit, right?
Yep.
And you've got people that you've been looking up to. However, the funny dynamic was they don't know that we know them like that in Australia.
Yeah.
So like I got Babu
Just
coming
there
up.
working.
Yeah, Babu's coming up, be like, yo, hey man, I'm Babu. Or like Rakaa's like, I'm Rakaa Iriscience, man. I'm from a crew dollar. But I'm like, cunt, I know who you are, right? Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to tell me who you are, bro. Like, we looking at you guys, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I said to Babu, yo, man, sound bombing 2 was my shit. He was like, yo, you got sound bombing out there? I was like, yeah, I mean, we got to get it from the import store, but it's still a fucking thing,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, so like I'm meeting all these fucking people. I met Tech at a publishing party. So we were there at the ASCAP Awards, were around that time. That's a publishing awards.
Yeah.
The publishing awards are the real awards because that's where all the fucking people that are actually getting paid because they're the writers.
Yeah. Right.
Like that's like so you don't know basically anyone, but they're all fucking like draped, right?
Yeah.
And
Those
so
royalties.
I'm at those sort of parties and circles. That's where I met fucking Will.i.am, Black Eyed Peas. So I had a fucking drunken conversation with Fergie, telling her, "Don't worry about what people are talking about." Like I was the cunt to say that to her.
Big girls don't cry.
Right. So like you know,
Was that the only conversation you had with Fergie?
Yeah. I don't need to have any more conversations with Fergie. It was just that was it. I met Tech at a publishing party, and he again it was like, "Yo, I'm Tech N9ne." I was like, "Yo, bro, like fuck, I love that thing you did on fucking Sway and Tech, bro. That verse, you know, with Pharaoh and da 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 da." So they were like, "Yo, mad respect. This kid's coming in. I think I got to tell him who I am, but he knows who I am, so he must know because people even here don't know who I am."
Yeah.
See the scope? So they're sort of irrespective of maybe where I was at. They didn't care. I was on the Sony money, and I was there.
Yeah.
In the trenches.
Well, you're
Right?
there in person.
So Tech, I was like, "Yo, what are you doing now?" He's like, "Nothing, man. I'm just in LA trying to promote some stuff. We're just looking to get an office here." And he was with Travis. We're like, "Yo, why don't you come down studio?" So he came down studio, met with Segal, and over there it's network, right? Like it's like cool. So he gets to meet the guy that mixed Drake 2001. He's in Larrabee West, which you know.
So for him, that's like
it's a connect, right? And Louis is all about the business, so she's making sure that everyone's happy that they're connecting.
You were on your own, or was?
Well, it was me, Chapel, and Louis. So it's just 3 of us, right?
Yeah.
And then you know,
All
so
paid for, everything paid for. So
yeah, man. My rent was getting paid still in Australia. Like that for me was like outrageous. I couldn't believe that like someone was paying my rent and I was in another country.
Yeah.
I'm from Bankstown, bro. Like I'm not. I couldn't even be in my own city rapping because I had to pay my rent by working a full-time job. Like let alone like some cunt like footing the bill.
Yeah.
So that was that, and then so I went and bro, you know what track Tech N9ne fucking lost it at? Fairy Tale Master.
Yeah, right.
Because if you think how like side not sideways he is, but he's not like again like what I was saying before. He's a bit off beat, you know, like. So when he heard that, he's like, "Yo, homie, this is like hard shit." I was like, "Cool. So you're down to work?" He's like, "100%."
Mad.
Okay, so we come back to Australia. Sony's like, "Yo, we still need a single." When I was over in the States the first time, there was a guy called, I can't remember his name. I just remember his name was Jay, but he came to the studio and we were still writing, a lot of cats are coming in. And how they used to do it back in the day was they'd have beat CDs. Yeah. So they come with there's massive sleeves and it'd be like fucking just like this thick, no shit, of just like CDs of beats. And you'd literally like put it in the display in the green room. Yeah. Click, like play.
That one of those like like the 9 CD ones.
Yes. So, you know, so you're just sitting there listening to beats. Same way how we would be now, SoundCloud just sifting, right? So we'd be like that. And this J guy came down and he brought REDFOO, right? Who, mind you, at this stage is like Berry Gordy's son. He was REDFOO, Dre Croon back in the day, like underground LA scene.
Did have the hair? Was the hair
Yes,
popping?
always had the hair.
Mad.
So, I met him at first, and like it was all cool. It was like, you know, props, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We came back, and they're like, "Yo, you need to go back and get a single." We went back to LA, and it was like All-Star Weekend. LA was popping, bro. We went to Shaquille O'Neal's private All-Star party, bro. I saw Busta Rhymes perform on a stage, fucking as big as his table, with Spliff Star do some crazy shit. Public Enemy, got my grass cut by Lennox Lewis, bro. I got stories, right?
That's another episode.
It's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, I'll let you simmer on this. So we went back, and there's this one Crazy Girls is like a LA strip club where a lot of people do business. So we walked in, and as soon as I walked in, I like looked right and I saw Steph, REDFOO, and I'm like, "Yo," and he's like, "Yo, fuck, what are you doing back in LA?" And I'm like, we're still writing." And he's like, true. So we're like, all right, cool. So we're just hanging out. We spoke with Joel, we're chilling, and then we're like, "So what are you doing now?" He's like, "Oh, nothing." He's like, we'll come back to the hotel, we'll catch up." He's like, "Yep." I went. Shout out to Jeremy Gregory as well, actually, massive soul singer here. Like he was over there doing his thing with Macy Gray at the time, so it was good to have some Australians over there. But we stepped out of the Crazy Girls and we jumped in the car. I took the Mustang, and Louis jumped in the Steph's car, and he was like, "Yo, I didn't want to pitch this beat to you before, but when you were out here last time, I actually made a beat for you, but I didn't want to cut my homie's grass because he was pitching to you. So like." Yeah, just out of respect. Yeah. But I mean, it's a bit fate that you just happen to be here. I had no idea. Then you walked in, so I'm gonna play this beat. So he had it, and he played the beat to "I Gotta Know" to Louis. Louis heard it. We got back to the hotel, and she was like, "Yo, I got the beat," and I was like, "Bet, like, yep, I can like fuck with it." I was like, "Yo, while we're here, let's hit up Tech and see if he's down."
Yeah.
Then we'll hold him to that, right? So Louis hit up Tech. Sorted the money. We got Tech at fucking bargain prices, bro. Like, but he was there for the love.
Yeah.
So he didn't really care. And we went to Universal Studio at that time, and we booked a room and we got it done. And that footage is actually up online. You can see that behind the scenes footage.
Yeah, dope.
Of me, Tech, and Steph in the studio.
On YouTube or
yeah, this is on YouTube, bro. Yeah, no one looks up Figgkidd anymore, really, like that. So
is it what is it, Under K9? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Under K9. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll link it up in the.
Yeah, we'll link it up, but
in the show notes.
So we did that, record the track.
Yeah.
We were really happy with it. Steph, actually, funnily enough, little side note, Steph was like, "Yo, man," and I've actually got footage of this as well. But Steph said to me, he goes, "Hey, man, I'm thinking of doing a rap duo."
Yeah.
At that time, and he goes, "I think I've told you this before."
You mentioned this to me.
He was like, "Yo, I'm thinking of doing this rap duo. Do you want to be a part of it?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro," but like, I'm fucking down because me and him were like hanging each other every single day for like a month.
Yeah.
Hey, hold up one sec.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just do something funny.
Do something funny. What?
Pressure's on, bro.
I don't even know how to do that.
I just wanted to laugh. That's all.
All right. Okay.
I just gotta. Yeah. Welcome back to the show, motherfuckers. Gang.
Yes.
Inaugural piss break.
Yeah.
I can't remember where you were at.
So I remember exactly. You were. I know this. Part of this story anyway. I've always wanted to get the full insight. But so you're in LA? Are you in LA at the time?
Yeah. So in LA.
REDFOO.
Yeah, and he was like. Yeah, he was like, "You want to be would you be part of this duo?" I was like, "Yeah, but I've obviously got my commitments in Australia, so I got to go sort that out."
Yeah.
But because I had actually reignited music for him because he was doing a bit of stand-up comedy at the time.
Yeah, right.
And
did he always have the same style, or was that kind of part of? I guess we'll get to it, but like his aesthetic.
In terms of, you mean
like very vibrant, like crazy glasses and all
that? That was, bro. LMFAO
man.
was potentially, I dare say, one of the most calculated fucking moves I've ever seen, man.
Yeah.
He knew what he wanted to do, how he wanted to do it, how it would be portrayed, the specific type of music it is. So it's not hip hop. It was party music, is how he said it. It was, I want a duo to do party music.
Yeah.
That is exactly what the fuck it was, to a level where it created a whole other like pocket, right?
Yeah.
So we went and recorded it, and if you actually look at that behind the scenes video, he's not. He's
Not
in
that.
a fucking shitty orange Adidas shirt, some fucking like straight leg pants.
Yeah.
Had his hair all out.
How long after that? So he said to you he wanted to create this party duo, and
Yeah, well,
You
so
came back.
LMFAO sort of started popping about 2007 or 8 maybe.
yeah.
Maybe a bit later than that.
So he worked on it for a while, like he was.
Yeah,
building-
he worked on it and honed exactly what it was
Did he
about.
produce it? Like, was he the big?
Yeah, he's
big-
everything, bro.
'Cause that's
Yeah, he's the fucking.
He's got a sound. That's a sound.
Sky Blue actually would literally have just been a footnote to the bigger picture, but that's why he was always like, it was like REDFOO, and then it was like Sky Blue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I couldn't have even told you the other.
Exactly. Well, because it didn't matter. Like the vision was there. And he actually said he had a show here, funnily enough, when Sexy and I Know It came out. And this is when they're on the cusp of really
Tune.
fucking popping. Like Party Rock Anthem was out,
Yeah.
but and everyone knew it, but it wasn't synonymous with LMFAO. So
Yeah.
they had a show out here at Oxford Arts, believe it or not.
Yeah,
It was
right.
only a fucking DJ little tiny set, but that's all they were doing at that time.
Yeah.
And I think they were supporting someone else.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Chippy went to that.
Sounds like some chick
Yeah,
would
that's
do.
what I thought. Because our friend used to work there, and they're like, Emma, they had a DJ set. And it was fucking packed.
It was packed.
Yeah.
Bro, there's footage of REDFOO pulling me up on stage and being like, yo, this is Figgkidd, or, Lee Morno, aka Figgkidd, Australia's finest, I think he says. And then he was like, straight up, he goes, this is the guy that in 2004 got me back into making music.
Mad.
He said that in front of everyone. I was like, and then to me to find that later I was like, yo, that's a crazy statement, especially when you've taken the world by storm with your fucking style of music. As annoying as it sort of became.
That's huge, man. You never know what interaction will influence people. That's pretty fucking epic. And that might have just been in your energy at the time. Do you know what I mean? You were so hungry and so in love with what you were doing that.
The funny thing is, bro, is like I still am.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that sort of maybe works against me, maybe how I interact with people, or my age, or my style, or timing. Fuck, so many aspects that contribute to your time. But certainly then one thing that really irked me, and I think still to this day I get shitty at if anyone ever fucking underhands my name, is that the amount of work that I physically had to do, that at the time I didn't give a fuck. Like, I will look in a fucking camera and I'll
We've only
say,
got one now.
that's right.
That one.
People fucking undercut me. People say like I unfairly got a deal. I know what the fucking truth is, and I worked every fucking moment for that deal.
Yeah.
And you couldn't tell me otherwise. The law of attraction shit, before all that shit was like The Secret and the magical wand that you wave over stuff and like talking shit into being.
Yeah.
Like, I unknowingly was exercising exactly that, because you could not fucking tell me that I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And because I put the energy into it in any way, shape or form that I could, like, you got to understand that things sometimes fall into place around you because you're instilling that energy into somebody else that might be the person to make that something, or rather click.
Yeah.
So just because you're not directly maybe responsible, like you've put your energy out, that somebody else has believed in you so much that they're invested in what they will get out of your success. So they fucking push just as hard in their circles for your shit.
Yeah.
And so like, one thing that really irked me was that like I put in so much work to get there, and then so to be discredited after, and then like that's a convo. But to come out and like then cop that, it was crazy. But man, the best thing is like, I had a peak of that ride as well. So 2004, end of 2004, November 2004, I dropped What Is Figgkidd? To a bit of a mixed reaction. It got 4 out of 5 in Rolling Stone, because it was a conceptual album, and people that were musical like they understood that it needed to sit with like a different. It's not to be listened as a stereotypical album. I mean, for fuck's sake, I had like Fairytale Master on there and fucking Steve Balby and like rock and live guitars, and like we had it was different.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a mixed reaction. So Sony shat it, most specifically because I toured with Bliss and Esso on Cypress Hill in 2004, and I was notoriously Horton Pavilion's notorious for having shit thrown at you at that stage, right? Yeah. And Bliss and Esso got shit thrown at him. I got shit thrown at me. Cypress got shit thrown at me. But
no way. Fucking throwing shit.
Why? Yeah.
Bro, yeah. So anyway.
I've seen kind of stuff. I remember, not so much these days, but I remember being at gigs when I was like...
Now it's light. It might be like a water bottle. You can cop that, bro. I had a 50-cent coin fly past me and hit the back panel. Like, like if that could have fucking taken a night out, like, cunts were out to hurt.
Yeah.
And
it's like the ninja star of the Australian
straight,
coin.
yeah.
Fucking...
And like, that was what I was going against. And bro, I remember doing Sydney in my hometown, and like Sony was there watching me in the thing, and they were like, yo, they don't like him, so they shut it. They didn't understand hip hop. They don't know hip hop. They don't know that I've got to get my fucking yards in again because I haven't been out. They completely negated and ignored the fact that Bliss and Esso just copped fucking water bowls and garbage. They ignored that Cypress copped the garbage. They just saw that Figgkidd copped the garbage. And then, and this is another little story, but my release chart, like I was signed by Michael Taylor was the head A&R at Sony at the time, and his release plan for me was to like ease them in, so like release like My, and then something else, and then I Gotta Know. So have two like warm-up singles, then I Gotta Know as the key single, and then fade out with Fairytale Master. Yeah. Then JD Spring Bet, RIP, he then came in and said, yo, we're gonna, like, because he wasn't an A&R experience. He used to be like the manager of like Big Brothers over in UK, which is like a pop rap little fucking girl boy group, right?
Yeah. So
he came over and was like, this is my first change that I'm gonna make, and it's Figgkidd's release plan. So he put my strong single first. It didn't peak. It got 50 on the ARIA chart, of 49 or 48 or something. And so Sony were like, oh, that coupled with like how, so then they pulled back on the album, too conceptual, then it made it, they re-released it with extra tracks that I'd done with Proof, Losty, and a couple others, and then they repackaged it as a bit of a more of just a straight hip hop look. Yeah. And then we got out of the Sony deal after that because we had a good contract with it, so we were able to like exercise our right to get out after out of any term, which is a term would be an album. We were able to express like, yo, we don't want to be in this anymore. Yeah. And Sony, within their month to negotiate, sort of turn around and be like, yeah, well, fuck.
How was that really as an artist to have like this album done and then to have it pretty much just fucking pulled out from under you? Like, that must have been pretty...
Yeah, I think the other thing that...
So much time.
It was fucking... bro, I got real depressed about it. I didn't really know what depression was at that time. And I still didn't know until years later how much of an impact that had on my life. But
would you say that was like your first time experiencing depression? Once you kind of, because I felt like that with anxiety. Like I feel like I experienced it through my teens, but just didn't know what the fuck it was. Just kind of thought that's how my brain worked. Yep. And then it wasn't until I was like in my early 20s where I like was going through it again, but kind of it was just the knowledge was a bit more readily available. It was like, absolutely, that sounds exactly like this.
And for young males. In hip hop, don't you dare fucking buckle, bro. Like you have to be so headstrong. I can't do no fucking sad boy rap. Yeah. Otherwise I'm fucking castrated, bro. You get
not today, bro. We can be sad.
You can be sad now, but back then, bro, like dare you be sad, you'll get fucking beat the fuck up. Like that's exactly how it was. You soft cock, like that's how it was, right?
Yeah, man.
So
especially when you're rolling with fucking TECHNINE and D12 and shit. It's like
straight up. It was fun. I've been in the fucking studio of Proof, like RIP as well. So it was, man. It took a toll, and then I had Phoebe, my first child, was born in 2006 in March. Yep. So you can imagine my missus was pregnant, like within the
Yeah.
2005 when the work had to be done for Figgkidd
Yeah.
to try and rectify.
Yeah.
And like we had our escape clause from the deal, but as Louis was working on the deal, my escape clause mentally, subconsciously, because I could deal with the fucking the fluctuation, was I got to be a dad now.
Yeah.
So I put I felt like it was like my get out like a jail free card. Like I'm a dad. Like you can't question my responsibility as dad.
Yeah.
And I love being a dad. Like my dad's like one of my fucking main shits. Like that's exactly who I identify as a father. But it's like it was like a way out.
Yeah.
It was very hard to mentally be a father and then mentally have to combat with what felt like everyone against me.
Yeah.
Bro, and it was at a stage where like I grew up in Bankstown, right? So you can imagine like based on everything we've talked about, right? This is when the internet started getting savage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just starting. So like there was forums where people were like, yo, you're a faggot. I hate that word.
Yeah.
But they'll say that word.
Yeah.
And that was fucking brutal. Or you're a dog, you're a this, you're a mutt, you're a whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they said it behind these fucking aliases, right? That what I could not deal with was I would see these people face to face.
Yeah.
And they would shake my hand. When back behind my back, they were fucking driving the knife so hard. But when I talk about that, and when I still, because I've been in retail for so long, so I understand body language.
Yeah.
Like succinctly, I see tells. If you lie to me, if you hesitate, if you don't have to say anything, your body says it.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking at these idiosyncratic mannerisms and I can see that you're a fucking fake cunt, and I know it's you, and you can't say it to my face, so then when I call you on it, I'm the crazy guy.
Yeah.
Because that guy never fucking gave me any reason to fucking say some shit.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden Figgkidd's the fucking cunt that, oh, well, you fucking lost the deal, dumb cunt. So that's on you.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, bro. Like, I know Blaze, who was a fucking big writer, right? A reputable writer for Stealth Magazine Online, and 3D World. He was like the fucking go-to guy. Some dumb cunt at Sony turned around and said, yo, we got the Slim Shady of Australia. As soon as he heard that, before I even came out, the most reputable fucking columnist besides Maxine, shout out to Miss Hennessy, Maxine, who wrote the Miss Cyclone. She did Miss Cyclone. They used to do the more R&B hip hop, but more American. And then Blaze was like the fucking the underground street cunt, right? And he wrote me off like he already had my name fuck that guy before I even came out. Didn't know me, didn't know who the fuck I was. All these guys still hid behind these fucking words, but because they were in and rubbing shoulders with the fucking corporates, I don't know how to do that. Louis does that for me. Yeah. But Louis not hip hop. She's like commercial. That's why she's been able to give me these accolade moves, right? And so she is making these moves. So she doesn't understand who's cutting me off over here. Yeah. But then when I go down that route, I look like a crazy guy calling that guy out. So Figgkidd's just a fucking.
How did that manifest? Did he put an article out on it, or it was just
yeah? So because he'd be like sort of like the ears to the ground, like, oh, okay, so Sony's doing this. This artist is coming out. Such and such a beast dropped this. Such and such in Queensland's doing this. And so he was like deep, and because
paid too.
Yeah, he would have got paid for that, and they as well They were all in amongst another one. It was a real boys club. Yeah. And if you weren't doing it the way they want to do it, fucking Obese and Next Level Records and shout out to all the homies, particularly in Sydney, because I have to say Sarek, Death Wish, Rivals, Southwest Syndicate, Brother Black, bro, these guys have Mystery, fuck man, shout out to Mystery, bro, Bankstown brother. These guys knew my yards, bro. Yeah. So even if they didn't agree with how I was doing it, they could not knock the hustle. They were like, yo, you're not doing it how we believe it should be done, but
still support
props,
you
bro.
Yeah,
I had people coming up to me in the area being like, yo, man, one of us made it. I was like, yo, that's crazy. You're looking at me with hope. Yeah. And here's me worried about old mate said some shit to fucking can my shit. That was yeah. So that bro.
It's kind of like the price you pay as an artist, though, man. Like you're fucking put in your heart, and like you put your work out there on like this level, and you've put so much into it. So when someone just like decides to go against that for no real reason,
And this is why, Lee,
fucking
straight
hurts,
up,
man.
this is why I speak so passionately. I see a kid like Leroy.
Yeah.
I don't see him, I see me. And I see how much it fucked my head. Like to a point where it wasn't until I was in my mid 30s, sorry, until I started addressing issues for myself. Right?
Yeah.
Like personal, deep rooted, fucked up issues, because I came up in hip hop and like I wasn't tooled out. So nobody has that experience here. Everyone got their fucking dick sucked when half of the shit they were putting out was fucking whack. There was MCs putting out fucking garbage. I would murder every one of those cunts. That they got the fucking pat on the back because they were doing it the fucking way it was supposed to be done. It's like I never fucking stayed in that lane. I always pushed the envelope. I always fucking did myself, and I was fucking cool about it. It was made people uncomfortable because I was saying some fucking fairy tale rap shit. So I look at someone like Leroy, and I look at like someone like fucking Iggy Azalea, who is now looked at in hip hop like the biggest how not to be a fucking dumb cunt. Like, you know, like she is looked like the most ignorant, dumb piece of shit. I would hate for one of us actual Australian rappers that happens to be indigenous to be fucking bro. I would to be put in that, for Leroy to be put even for a second in the same fucking category as Iggy Azalea.
Yeah.
Is that not the biggest fucking slap in the face you ever fucking heard in your life?
Yeah.
Yo, am I right?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So for me, when I speak with passion, I'm like, yo, I would fucking hate to think that our youth, and then to slightly offset, this is why I rap in an Australian accent now, is because it's no longer about me. I have to make a fucking Australian accent sound fucking nice. I have to work at my fucking craft, bro. Not my fucking craft to get my dick sucked, or my craft to get my fucking name out, or my fucking name in lights and all that. I love being on the same stage with all these cats, bro. Like I yearn for it. Like I love to be just there repping. I love an MC coming up and like, yo, that was hectic.
Yeah.
And just get like that's all, right? But now it's more about like, yo, I need the kids to be like, I need a Hefs to know that he's good enough. We need, not me, fuck me. But we need, for the best of all of us, we need Chillin' It to know that he's got to be chilling it. We need Talent to know he's got to be Taller. And we need them to know that it's okay to have the American influence, right? Because to be honest, they're the best at the craft. So we'd be dumb not to take the inspiration. But we do it in our way. That's why then I go back to the Eric Clapton biography, right? That cunt had people writing Clapton is God, spray painting it on walls. That guy didn't even know who he was yet. He thought he was just a combination of all his influences. He thought he was a hack. Yeah. And he was the
Imposter
fucking
syndrome, yeah.
Absolutely. So, but he was the man, right? He had curated his own style based on every single one of his influences, and then as such became the master of his domain.
Yeah.
Right? And so like that's the same thing. We owe it to ourselves as a culture to be like, yo, and that's why, you know, I look at some of the peers and the leaders and they hear maybe pat some of these kids on the bum. That's not fair for them. You know, like the conversations that I know that I still have with some artists, and these artists, like I don't need to name them because they know, like if they even watch this, they know who the fuck I'm talking about. But I've had to put them and say like, yo, like you're not going to want to hear this. But what you're fucking doing is fucking shit, or it's whack. Then they'll go hang out with some other cunt that sucks a dick for a split second saying that there's some sort of dope. And then they're like, oh, cool. That's a stroke of my ego. So I'm going to stick around that. But then that's detrimental to their development. They don't get up. And then what happens is then they throw in the fucking towel, and they could have been the fucking man. They throw in the towel after a short amount of time. Mind you, here's me. I had the deal. What's it? It's 2020.
Yeah.
My first record came out 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
And then I had years on top of that. You can't fucking tell me that I haven't fucking worked. Fuck you if you say not.
Yeah.
Like I've been at it longer than you have been alive, cunt. And you have the audacity to tell me that I haven't worked, right? Irrespective of what the fuck you think of my music, I don't care. But as such, I think that funny cliche, you know, like with great power comes great responsibility. If I have that knowledge, I'd be a dumb cunt not to pass on. Like, yo, you need to understand that, like, you're going to be seeing some shit. You're going to be hacked out this way. You're going to be blah, blah, blah. But I'm giving you that tool. I'm giving you that gem. I'm giving you that knowledge now so that when you cross that road, I'd rather give you the hard news now.
Yeah.
So that you're formidable for it. You can move past. You're powerful for it. You're not, you know.
Yeah.
This
I mean,
industry breaks people, man.
it kind of
Every day.
loops back to exactly what we were saying at the start of this when you were talking about The Last Stand and just like how these insights are available now, man. Like a lot of this shit is open source, and there's people that have been through, like, do you know what I mean? Like for you to go through everything that you've just spoken about, like. Someone had to go down that fucking path first.
And bro,
to take
and
that
tell me,
knowledge
Lee,
and then to want to like bestow it on.
I'm gonna ask you a question, right? Tell me, Lee. Like,
Hey, Lee.
Kanye West. Tell me, Sway. You ain't got the ant. Anyway, so but like honestly, tell me this. No, wait, Soulja Boy. Drake. Anyway, but if you look at it, and from your experience, because like you know, I look at you boys and I see some very fucking proactive, passionate about the culture type of dudes, right? And what?
No, she dead.
Audio cast.
Audio cast from here. Yeah.
Audio cast.
Okay,
I.
run the iPhone.
Oh,
My phone's dead.
Mine's under there.
fuck, it's crazy. It's getting crazy.
We're techie, bro.
Savs.
We've never done
Yeah, I
one
love.
this long.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
keep going, keep going.
So, like I see you guys, and like you know, it's inspiring because then I see people like really you know, trying to like you know, I don't know if you remember, but like I ask you to be on your shit,
Yeah.
not the other way around,
Yeah.
right? So I mean that's a bit of a testament to how you are recognized as proactive people for the culture, right? And I've seen illeqwip, I've seen a sticker of illeqwip every fucking place I go. I can't stop seeing it. And then, but then I sort of see how else you help and you provide platforms, you know, at a lot of the times at your own expense just in order to get it up. And, you know, your satisfaction is being able to provide that platform, you know, and yeah, you might start to be seeing maybe a little bit of money now and you can sort of start to slightly navigate, but it's still a labor of love because you're not getting the comfort money.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, like, I look at that and I go, cool, so you guys know what the fuck is going on. And then I ask you, like, name one other person like me. Yeah. One. Just give me one.
Fuck, yeah. I can't think of one.
Straight up. I'm not a conceited, like, it's not about me. It's about everyone, right?
Yeah.
There's not one that's seen what I've seen.
Yeah.
Not one. There's nothing, nobody, right? So sometimes, like, you know, as well, like, I'll get fucking cut when some cunt thinks they know better. And I know, that's why I started to do a podcast.
Yeah.
Because I know them and I know their history and probably know their family. And if I don't know their family, I know their other family.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll know the hip hop family, or I'll know, like, I've known you since you were 14. I talk to your mum. Straight up shit, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, like, I think that it's, you know, now that we've got these platforms, yeah, like, we got to start utilizing this for the, because I sort of see that people are opportunistic about the current climate of hip hop in Australia and that it's starting to get a bit of a move.
For sure.
But they're trying to bank on it now, right? When the bigger picture would say that now is the time we've got to start working with our youth, right? Younger guys coming up and giving them knowledge so that they're not just big here for 6 to 12 months and then it's the next flavor of the fucking month, you know?
Yeah.
I would hate to think the fucking 1-4 after COVID is irrelevant when all the fucking shit that they've done and all the stuff that they've had to work through, right?
Yeah.
They'll be fucked, right? So how are these guys getting equipped? And like, that's not me necessarily poking. Like 1-4 is just one of many young up and comers, right? Like what tools? And the other thing is how are we making these kids self-sustainable, right? Where they're seeing like the fucking the money for their merch goes directly to them, and then a person that is taking care of them invoices them. Have they even taught them about invoices? It blows my mind that some of these young kids don't even know how to distribute their own music. Don't even know how to get APRA. Don't even know about their writers, the royalties. Don't know about their performance royalties, right? I know that this cunt, Hazy, any opportunity he gets, he'll equip a young cunt with some fucking Yo, how you putting that out? All right, cool. Well, we can help with that, but it's this, that, like, this is how you're going to see it, la, 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 la. They're getting knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, it's like equipping them to be able to, like, yo, if Hazy dips out and he's got other shit to do, because he does, right? Do they, all of a sudden, Hazy's their fucking safety blanket, so then Hazy goes and all of a sudden they're fucking doing nothing?
Yeah.
Right? Or are they at least slightly more equipped than the last time that they saw him?
Yeah.
And they probably are. They'll probably be working on some shit because they feel actually inspired to be able to fucking like be proactive. You know. So anyway, fuck me, dude.
No, it's like that old adage of like, you know, you can. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna fuck this up so badly. Something about like you can
Bring a horse to water.
You
can
take a big horse to water, but you can't make him drink. But he'll probably drink the water.
We'll have a VB.
Yeah,
along that line, but like with like you could give someone a fish to feed them once, or you could teach them how to fish, and they'll be able to feed
100.
themselves
That's
for-
the saying. Like yes, like without doubt. And I think that like, you know, we've got to stop giving them fish. We've got to teach them how to fish.
But
like,
it's hard to like, I learned all this stuff from my old man. I was with him this morning.
yeah,
We had a coffee and we're talking about DistroKid, and then, you know, so many people use DistroKid and all that stuff, and he's like, don't use it because you don't get any of your radio stuff if it gets played
yeah.
anywhere else. But no one knows that because they haven't read the fine print.
Well, there you go.
But I wouldn't have never known that unless my old man told me, like, because he's gone through what you've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But being a music producer, fucked over royalties, fucked over everything, had #1 records in America, but can still sit there, make music, be happy. He's all about the connections where me and you love it that way, you know, the family that you make from music. Like, there's that thing, and then there's also just putting your fucking music out there and not figuring out how to, you know, make this a long journey and a fun journey, and be pulled through all the shit. And fucking,
Yeah, bro. So yeah, anyway.
it's fun anyway. Hey, let's get
Yeah, it's still fun.
To me, that sounds like a fucking killer podcast idea right there, just in itself. Just
Education.
dropping that knowledge.
Lee
dude.
and Hazy's rant for an hour about
Lee and
Not me.
Hazy's
Yeah,
guide
yeah,
to the universe. Music,
Other
hip hop. Other Lee.
I'll be the back. I'll be the backup dancer
you
on
can
that
do
one.
you can do the
Lee and Hazy.
Yeah, we need to get Lee Morno in here as well, the VCW representative, and get this fucking
that
name
was
dispute
fucking
sorted
great.
out.
That was
The
great.
man, Lee the man. Morno. Shout out VCW.
Shout out VCW. That was a
Yeah.
bunch of fun, man.
But yeah, man, I think that's like you just said it then. Like it's all about sharing the knowledge, and part of what we're doing here, and like I mean, I guess that's what. And firstly, thank you for all the big ups that you just gave. You know,
Oh,
through
bro,
all
I
that
don't give. I'm like,
that's not why we're doing it. Like,
no, it's not, and that's the reason why you deserve the props is because you know it's very easy to see that because I see you guys doing things that I fucking know that you're not getting anything like putting people on, you know, like. Bro, I've learned through seeing just the efforts that you guys put in. You know what I mean? You've helped me reignite passion for a couple of elements. You've also not only have you shown me new elements and newness and youth and fresh shit, but you've also reconnected me with even other people and inspired. I know because I talk to everyone that we've re-inspired. Bro, people are hitting me up, like, yo, how do I get on that tour? Yo, Lee, like it's cracked. Like, yo, how do I get on that tour? And I'm like, bro, fucking talk to him. Yeah, I swear, I fucking sent an email. I was like, well, you need to fucking hit him up again.
Yeah.
You know, like,
That's all Lee's fault.
slide in those
That's all
DMs.
Lee's fault.
yeah.
I'm terrible at communication.
It's just that
No, it's
because,
been
but
good.
you guys are so widespread as well. Like
Yeah.
in terms of like, you know, no, I don't want to say spreading thin. It's just that you try,
There's a
at
few
least it
lanes there.
appears,
Yeah.
that it's like, we'd be silly to think that just contributing in this aspect of it would really make a difference. However, if we can contribute at a number of aspects, there's a higher strike rate, like better chance of making a difference, which is how it feels.
Yeah, and I guess like that literally just comes to the whole reason like we're even doing this right now. Like everything you were saying about APRA and all that kind of stuff is something I have zero knowledge in. So by me and Hazy connecting, like that's, do you know what I mean? That's where it comes together.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I've got my elements. It's the same when we do a shows. You know, it's like I handle my part of it. He does his part, and then we.
What
bring
is
in
your
other
part,
people.
Lee?
He's the butter. He's the butter to my bread.
It's the.
But
that's
like-
it. Cookies and cream, baby.
Sometimes I fucking spin out.
I don't even know.
Some
what my
cunts
part
turn
is,
up
dude.
and I'm like, yo, I know that cunt. and that cunt would never be here. Like, say for a tour.
Yeah.
Remember one show? There was Biggs, Elijah, Curvy.
Yeah.
Who else was it? There's a poster there.
Well, actually, Kirby, that's
I ran into Kirby.
that comes back to you because I met him at K Sarah's house
Yeah, that was me.
after
Yeah,
it was you, me,
Yeah.
Crispy, and Thrax. I think
that
it
was
was.
a night.
That was this time last year. Actually,
Just by the people in the
'Cause that was-
sounds like a night.
that was the Easter long weekend. Were you there?
No.
I can't remember.
I'm
But
not
I
out,
remember
bro.
we got the invite.
I'm not out of them things.
It was after.
I'm a sober man. You got to remember.
It was after Chills.
It was after the Ivy gig.
Yeah.
Easter long weekend. So it was literally a year ago.
Chills gig at the Ivy.
Yeah.
Like it was
I know
Chills
what you're
gig, but
talking
it was
about. It was
also
Chills
Kid,
gig.
Kid Leroy
it was
there
Chills
too.
Kid.
Kid Leroy
But it was
there.
also like Wise, Raj Mahal,
111.
111. It was a fucking
That
banging
was a
gig, bro.
monster.
That was
I wish
crazy.
I
And
was
it was
at
at
that
Ivy
gig,
too.
bro.
So
Saw
everyone
every-
was like, what are we doing
Yeah,
here? But this is
yeah.
actually a dope venue.
And then we're at
It was
K
good.
Sarah. That was when
It
I
was
first
so
met
good.
K Sarah, and I was like, went to her house.
Big
And I was
ass
like,
dog.
I was like, I'm in.
Oh man, R.I.P. man.
Oh,
Mahi.
real?
Yeah, bro.
Fuck, man.
Sad. I was just on K's. I was trying to talk
But
to K today.
she just
Yeah.
opened the
R.I.P.
door and
to
was like,
Doggo.
who are you?
Fuck you.
And we're
Yeah,
like,
she doesn't,
we're
bro. The ranch, she
But
she's
was
not. She
so
doesn't have an open door, bro.
she
Like
was
you
so
gotta know
humble and
to get there.
Yeah.
fucking nice. And I was like, as soon as you walk in, we're going
Well, I think that came through
Yo.
through Pfizer and through Wise and all. That was
I'm gonna tell you something as well.
who took us.
You want to
along,
talk to someone, bro? Because like that's on my list. I'm talking to K Sarah.
but- Oh, 100%.
Like K Sarah.
Yeah.
But like what? Yeah.
Shit.
But everything that you're saying about like having people to kind of light the way, like I think that's one of the major things that's different about today than when you were coming up. Is there's people that have been through it. So I've even heard Hal say it before, like just about his coolism days, and obviously he's such a pivotal character in the culture.
First ARIA winning hip hop artist in Australia.
True. Fuck, I didn't even know
Yeah, him and Daniel Star, bro. Coolism won that ARIA, bro.
that. Yeah, right.
I had me and Hal had words on that. Ask Hal on that. Okay, so what happened? Shout out to Hal. Hal,
Exclusive.
for my fucking t-shirt, straight fucking t-shirt, band t-shirt day was your collaboration with Romantics. I got that shit as well, and you know that. So mad love to Hal. It was a funny interaction with me and Hal was. So shout out to Mystery as well, because he was involved. So when they won the ARIA, in Stealth magazine, someone commissioned Mystery to do a picture of Hal and Daniel San with an ARIA stomping me, Jay West, and
Shots fired.
me, Jay West, and maybe someone else. Selwyn, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But when they had that little fucking rat ass cunt, like he had me down there like you know, and like I draw, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm like, okay, cool.
So the
They
graphic
published-
was created.
Huh?
Oh, they published it.
Yeah, so you know, Mystery sketched it up.
I want that on a t-shirt.
Bro, I would wear it. It's hilarious. Actually, we'll try to find it.
Fuck yeah.
I know someone actually that has it. I'll hit him up. But anyway, so like for me, I was like, I hated that I got lumped on that. Like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm in that. You putting me in that basket? Fuck you. Like, and not on how. It
Yeah.
had nothing to do with how. I actually didn't really know coolism. Like, I didn't know how. I didn't know Daniel San like that. So, and you know, and how knows that. But it was so funny, man.
You're a
like-
passionate guy.
I am. On the forums, I drew a picture of me holding Daniel San like this, and I drew Daniel San in Mystery style, like so I basically just jacked it.
Real solid jaw and yeah.
And then me holding him and then just stabbing him with the Aria, because Arias are like sharp.
yeah.
So he had like holes in him, right?
Yeah.
And,
Heart attack.
And
Fuck.
I sort of, and I wrote like a little speech bubble, be like, I think you guys forget why I'm here. Like, I'm not here for your fucking award. You can stick your award. So that was that, and I put it out. But it was on my Figgkidd.com forum,
Yeah.
right?
You had a forum?
Yeah, bro. Fuck. Bro, I still to this day, like,
In before Reddit. Shit.
there was forum, like, my forum had, like, I still to this day stay in touch with people. But, bro,
Nah.
shout out to Molotov, shout out to Split Atoms, shout
You're
out
a big
to
MySpace.
Big Geordie.
MySpace too.
Yeah, MySpace as well. But these guys are still involved in my life and more importantly, my hip hop. Like Big Geordie and Split Atoms still produce for me. Molotov does a lot of my graphics and
Yeah, man.
and stuff like that. So he's still involved, and they're just been fucking absolute day ones. But I put it up on my personal Figgkidd forum, and bro, it got around where fucking Hal saw it. I was at the Metro, and Hal came up to me. He was
Pulled
like,
you up on.
"Hey man, why'd you draw that picture of fucking you stabbing such as Daniel?" I go, "Bro, I'm not like I was like, who do you think I am? Like, I'm not gonna get stumped." He's like, "Yeah, but we didn't tell him to draw it." I go, "Well, I don't give a fuck. It was still drawn." So I said, I draw. That's what I got on my sleeve. So you can't." And he was like, "Yeah, but," he was like, I remember he said, "Yeah, but like stabbing him, man, that's pretty dark." Well, that's like my sense of humor. I was like, "But look, I apologize." I said to him, "Look, man, like I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at how I'm being portrayed because I'm not a punk like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not that guy. Like Jay West, cool. Selwyn, who, mind you, he's a sick cunt. He was on my first album as well, but he's pop, so it's cool. But I'm hip hop, so don't put me in that barrel." Anyway, so we had a bit of a funny conversation about it. I mean, like we squashed it straight away, but it was just funny because that was, I think, like Hal's first like idea of me.
Yeah.
Was like, "Yo, this cunt is putting out there that he wants to stab my producer." I don't want to stab Daniel's son, like, so yeah, but you're right, man. But you're right, and Hal's like one of those people that, I know he puts a lot of effort, man. I was actually talking about this to Hazy the other day. So sometimes I get a bit confused about how I feel about people like Hal, only because like I think some of me goes back to like my experiences. So then how they talk to people, particularly from West Sydney. This was like really where I'm from, and he's from Queanbeyan. So, and so like sometimes like I get him, like I'll be like, "Yo, like man, these kids need to know this," and I look at Hal's like their main guy to reach out to because he's Polynesian and like he needs to be the guy, right? And he's done his yards. He's on the hip hop show. Like he's done it. Man, he's done more than 99.99% of any other MCs have done for any other MC. Yeah, like undebatable, right? So sometimes I got to check myself because like maybe sometimes I'll see something and be like, "Yo, but it's got to be like this," but I'm like, "Oh fuck, shut up, Lee." Like Hal's doing some fucking big shit. Yeah, So yeah, but it's good, man, because you know what, like the other thing is like nobody knows how to fucking do anything, bro. We're still creating blueprints. So 100%. Like the fact that we got Hal's out there, me out there, Hazy out there, Randy, shout out to Randy Street, Liverpool, Mystery down the street, Liverpool, shout out to Esky out at fucking Mount Druitt Street University, and all the fucking like Izzy, all these guys, man, are doing so much behind the scene work. Shout out to Stan Bravo, Mirror,
Hardcore
Dobby,
Classics.
Hardcore Classics. Shout out to Tom Rock, man. Like, shout out to K Sarah. Fuck, man, K Sarah doesn't get the fucking props. Like, there's so many people that like ask the B-Wisers, like you verbatim, you put B-Wise on the spot and you'd be like, "Yo, like really, I'm gonna ask you a question: who's Lee Morno, or who's Hal, or who's Franco, or who, they know." Yeah. And it's good that those people are around still, bro. Like fuck, Tom Rocks, bro. They're doing it for love. Izzy, they're doing it for fucking love. They're still doing a fucking Wednesday night fucking rock the block. Yeah. To have any aspiring MC to roll down, anyone can do a launch there. Yeah. It's all love. It's all hip hop. It's all in the name of the game. Like, and these people are still fucking there. They don't get the props sometimes, but sometimes that's what it's about, right? It's like it's not about the props, it's about the culture.
And I feel like the two ups are the up and coming younger cats, and then it's good that there's that platform because it is hard when you're 19 and you're trying to do something, and you've only got two songs.
That's a good point, because you guys give them a slice of maybe what to expect, and I'll tell you a good example because I don't give a fuck. We'll just put it out there. Yeah. Graveyard.
Oh yeah.
Graveyard Boys.
Graveyard Boys. Sorry, like I know who you are, like 100%, right? But like as an example, first time I ever saw Graveyard Boys, they were painted in the best fucking light, ever, because of 2 Up.
That was the first one.
Yeah, that was.
It was the first one. That was
their first.
100%.
Kobe D.
Sexy. That was their first show, and that was
Dave.
Through.
Fuck, season spelt sinners.
Did I fuck up the spelling?
Did you?
I did.
Did,
eh?
bro. What the
SNZS.
fuck? That's crazy.
Sneezes.
Sneeze.
Shout out sneezes.
Well, fuck, we just realised that.
Damn you and your 2020 vision, bro.
Yeah.
I'm
saying
saying
my vision's
that's
good.
over a year old. The
Sharp.
8th of February last year.
My bad.
Yo!
My bad, boy.
Are you saying 8th of February 2019?
Yeah.
Good
What
cunt.
the fuck?
Good cunts is spelled correctly though.
Yeah, yeah,
Put
yeah.
that on
yeah,
my
that is
fucking
spelled correctly.
credit
yeah.
where credit's
I can't
due.
believe Kobe was on that one.
Yeah, bro.
Sick cunt.
And that was the first gig I saw him outside of the Lansdowne one, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe I saw him here and then I saw him at Lansdowne. Anyway.
No, it would have been Lansdowne first.
crazy.
Because that was when I first saw him. And that was...
And that's why you put him on maybe?
That was time
Yeah,
before.
so
But
like...
And then you look at the next one. You're on the next one with Nookie, Tyler.
Well,
Free
bro,
Song.
that first one, I was like, I have to fucking be on. I cannot be on this.
I remember, we
Yeah.
had that conversation straight away when you're here. You're like,
Yes.
I'm on. I'm like, of course. And then we
Yeah.
did a track.
Surely.
Did we do?
That was when Click.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
because
did a
Click
track.
Clack, you released the
released
EP
it,
for
yeah,
that.
yeah,
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 that's
yeah.
crazy. But I was gonna say, like, I'll give you a perfect example of like sort of what you guys do, right? As well, from an outside, again, sort of like outsider's point of view, like looking at a lot of things. I look at like Graveyard Boys. My first ever impression, I'm always gonna give them some degree of a benefit of a doubt because they're loose cunts. They don't act appropriately all the time. All right.
It's a very
I'm a
nice
fucking,
way of
I'm a
putting it.
grown ass man. I'm a dad, right? So like,
Yeah.
like if those cunts were my sons, like you best believe they're gonna, like I would beat them. Like,
Whooping some
Shut
ass.
up.
Allegedly.
no. But like what I'm saying is like you know they're loose and that's cool because there's a definitely a lane for that, right? And I think that sometimes that lane can get very misunderstood. And how I mean that is like they tried to have, they didn't try, they were asked to do, for example, Rock the Block. They were approached to do that because of who they were and how they fucking pumped that. They were that night. I don't give a fuck who was on.
Oh, that, yeah.
Everybody was dope. Graveyard Boys came in. They were the first act. They almost caved in the fucking floor, and
Yeah.
they set the tone, in my opinion, for 2 Up for the rest of the shit.
Oh yeah,
Because
100%.
they not only came down, but they stayed there for the whole night
and turned the fuck
and turned
up.
the fuck up for
The whole
every
time.
single act there. And like
I've
for
never
that,
seen a hip hop show like that before.
I haven't,
for
not
ages.
here.
Yeah.
Not here.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like when I saw that, that was really, I think, like when Sydney shows and stuff started. Bro, you know who hit me up about that night with Graveyard Boys? How?
Man.
How was like on it, like, yo, where is this? And because like it's like this was a fucking spot, like, yo, this is happening and I don't know about it. Like, what the fuck?
We didn't know about it.
No, wait.
We're like, this shit is
Like,
fucking wild.
We were
What
like-
the
we're
fuck
like,
is
so
going
what
on
are
here?
you gonna host? She's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. All right, sweet. All right.
It was crazy, and so like it set this tone. But then to the point, they didn't, and like, and you know this as well, like with the they've been around, but the other show when they did the Rock the Block, they're not hip hop, so they didn't get the best opportunity there, and they were probably not prepared for that type of show.
Where's Rock the Block again?
Down at Hustle and Flow.
Oh yeah.
That's the one that Crispy played.
Yeah,
The Wednesday night.
The Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did the Speak Less launch was done.
Yeah, I played that.
I think that was
Recent.
Yeah, 'cause I was in
relatively
Japan
recent.
at that time.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were. Yeah, that's right. Because you texted me. You said you couldn't come. But he. But then I look at that and I go like, well, fuck, man, we need this because it's people like Graveyard Boys who have that they do like they got their spot right.
Yeah.
But if the only thing that's on is the other thing, then they're never gonna have an opportunity because they're gonna throw a fucking tentatively someone that's in the scene that has a say because like they threw someone's nose up there that could probably stop them having a few gigs. Now they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But what if it was another person?
Yeah.
That could have stopped
They
a few
had their
gigs.
single
Got rubbed the
launch
wrong way,
here a
yeah.
couple of months after that gig.
Yeah.
And they had fucking man. It was like walking into Odd Future. The guy had shit on a fucking painting.
Yeah, that was wild actually.
Smeared on the wall,
Yeah.
and it was 2 speakers
What, actual
set up.
shit?
Actual
Yeah.
shit, yeah.
There was two.
There was,
2 speakers set up, and it was just all blown. The whole sound was blown, and everyone was just standing around, no shirts on. It was a sweatbox, and it was a vibe. No one even knew
still
what was
vibing,
going
yeah.
on, but it was wild, eh?
Yeah, it was fucking
wild, wild.
crazy.
We're
That's what I'm
fuck.
saying, bro. They
We're
got their
what did
lane.
we
You can't
create?
We know it was human shit. Well, anyway, I'm assuming because next to so there was the artwork, I guess you'd say, and then next
Quote,
to it
unquote.
were like
No, it's art.
were
Come
like printed photos of him taking a shit down the side of the house onto the bit of cardboard to then fucking fucking shout out that cunt. He jumped up on the cypher as well, man. He was going fucking hard that night as well. But
And that's how coronavirus started.
that's the real source.
That's the real
Exclusive.
source. We got there. We got coronavirus in there at some
Yes.
stage. But,
Yeah.
you know,
But
like,
yeah, I guess it's all opportunities, man. And this, like, fucking shout out the Lord Gladstone, because they gave us that chance to do
Yo.
that. And
but even
I think
before
there was a lot of
this,
shit
with,
happening.
with One Day, right?
Oh, forever, man. I mean, this place is an institution, and there's a lot of history
Hey,
before
and there
before
is,
we ever stepped in here.
bro. Me and Ello C recorded. I think I told you this.
I
No?
don't think so. Oh, maybe.
Bro, Overtime 3. Do you know Overtime 3? Have you guys haven't listened to it. It's on Spotify. You can hear me and LOC. Overtime 3 was our like sort of like, fuck, I hate to use this word, like, that was our definitive work. We're not, this is, you know, but it was like our fucking peak, and then we fell out,
Yeah.
right? But we recorded it just in this back lane. There's a brothel up there, and there's a studio right next to it.
Yeah, right.
And we recorded the whole shit. I recorded with fucking J57. We had Joey Badass in that studio, Statik Select, CJ Fly. We have fucking Mez in that studio, Will Singe in that studio. We have
Two door
fucking
up the
couple
lane
doors down, bro, that way. And this was a dive.
Just past the
This was a
quote-unquote
dive here,
massage
bro.
parlor.
Yeah. Yeah. Here was a dive, and here's where you got like cheap schnitty. It was a fucking hole. And then when the boys came up and they started doing some work on it, and they were like, yeah, like, you know, we did the Vic. We're like, oh, true. You guys fucking run One Day
Yeah.
with the boys. And they were like, yeah. So straight away you knew that this place was going to be transformed into something bigger than what, you know.
Yeah.
And then now it's at a fucking level.
Oh, we had a big year plan. We had fucking 5 2-ups booked and everything, and heaps of shit going on. But that's
True.
all right. It's all good. Everyone can hibernate and make some content,
Yeah.
and then we're coming back bigger and stronger.
That's the
So-
thing,
approach
bro.
it
How do you
differently.
feel about that? Like, the best thing about the moment is, bro, like, I'm seeing some MCs getting fucking active.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah, man.
if there's boys in the studio right now here, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
every
crazy.
every day they're here.
Yeah. Fucking
Really?
oath. Yeah, they don't.
When they're not fucking having drinking competitions with Crispy online.
But
Yo,
then
Obi's on some fucking
Crispy's in
shit.
here.
I'm gonna lose.
Yeah.
So I saw him this morning. He made Baron Callaghan, so he's like, he's gonna give up.
Who?
Obi,
For what?
fucking for his
For
eyebrows.
his eyebrows?
Yeah, that's real. I honestly thought that was a.
Yo, is he
Instagram
there with no
filter.
eyebrows?
Is he? I haven't seen him yet. Fuck yeah. All right, we'll do it behind the scenes. Fuck. We'll take the phone in there after this.
I was over there and I was getting a Philly cheesesteak, and I went.
Shout out to Philly Cheesesteak across the
Shout
road
out.
from the
I
Gladstone,
went
bro.
like this to him, and he went.
I honestly thought it was a new Instagram filter, and then like just
Well,
as I saw more and more clips,
nah,
I'm like,
like-
Well,
nah.
it was across the road, so.
What a funny cunt.
I'm going to tell you something funny, right, as well. Do you see the other day when he was going fucking 1-for-1 with?
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Can I tell you, like,
I
I was
was
sitting, I was
getting
moving
drunk.
house.
Yeah.
And I was sitting, I was sitting house, like, I was sitting at moving house. I was with my son. We're in the car. I'm sitting there, like, one time I'll just take 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, let's see what's going on. I jump on, I'm like,
10 news stories.
bro, I'm watching it all, and I'm like, oh, no.
Especially having both of them, so you're seeing the back and forth.
And I'm like, oh, no. Oh, no. And my son, legit, he's 12. He's like, Dad, what's wrong? I'm like, how am I going to tell my
Don't be a
son?
rapper.
I was like, nah. I was like, you know how Dad like doesn't drink anymore. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah. I'm like, yo.
Dad used to do shit like this.
I was like, this is why. And like, man, you just saw him get so messy. And I was like, fuck, I hope they don't die. Straight up, bro. Like,
Yeah.
that was the level of drinking they were doing. I was like,
But I
yo,
spoke
I
to,
hope-
bro,
I spoke
when
to
he
Crispy
necked
that night. I'm
Huh?
like,
when he necked that bottle of rosé, Obi,
Yo,
and, like,
I was
deep,
like,
deep in the fucking game too, bro.
he was like beyond, bro.
Still, yeah, and I spoke to Crispy.
These
that
guys
night
are
too. I think
seasoned veterans,
About
bro. Like,
1 a.m., he FaceTimed me and we chatted for fucking ages because it was just after I got back from Japan. Surprisingly coherent.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Crispy.
I was
Had it
speak-
together.
I was speaking
bro,
to him
that was bizarre. He was
He
only
said he
gone.
wasn't even hungover at all. He goes,
I know, because I messaged him
Was
as well. I was
pissed.
like, yo, are you alive?
Yeah.
Tell me that you're just alive. Like, that's all I need to know. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, and I feel great. Had a shower. I'm a boss. I was like, fuck, get the fuck out of here.
that
I was
boy-
like,
that boy
I
can
was like,
drink.
you're still drunk. Don't talk to me.
Yeah, that boy can have a party, man.
Yeah, he's been a party guy for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But look,
He knows how to do it.
I'm just happy as well that, like, at least he's fucking productive.
Yeah.
Cunt's making some music. Crispy's probably one of the most underrated MCs.
Bro, I've got some tunes that we've got on my laptop that we're about
We'll
to
run
release
some shit up after
very
this.
soon.
Fuck yeah. All right, man.
But man, just to loop back to it real quick, what I was saying a minute ago about the whole How thing. Like, I remember seeing a clip with him saying that, like, you know, we've been through. There's these figures in the scene that have been through certain things. You know, everyone's experience is different and has had like a completely different journey. But
Yeah.
who the fuck would we be as artists and leaders to not bestow this. Like we could like you could sit on it. Do you know what I mean? You could sit on certain knowledge and not want to share it with people. But who the fuck would you be to not enable the next generation and then put them onto the next platform? Because the next artists that come after them, you know, it's the same thing. You know, someone's kicked in the door, and then this is everything that's behind it. So I think more people that are doing that from the older school generations, it's like, man, it's the dopest thing, and it connects people. It creates community. It's like, I don't know. I got nothing but respect for people doing that kind of shit, man.
Royce actually said something similar, and to sort of go further, right? He said, when we were coming up, he goes, the guys we were looking up to were like, fuck, figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we had to make those fucking mistakes ourselves, right? So the guys that were before us were everything that we probably didn't want them to be. So like the bad father figure.
Yeah.
So if you have experienced a bad father figure and then you're the father and you're not making every effort to teach your son
you got two options.
How to maneuver, what man does that make you?
Yeah.
And that's not an easy pill to swallow sometimes. It's like, yo, like it's not easy to look in the mirror and be like, yo, I'm my dad.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm talking on some fucking actual, literal, personal, family shit.
Yeah.
Like, I've got children, and I've been my dad.
Yeah.
So if I correlate that to my responsibility in hip hop, I say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's be like, yo, and I'd be further ignorant to say, yo, I've recognized that I'm my dad, and I've had to change that, and change my perspective, and eat shit for a second, and just realize that I'm the bad guy.
Better that than to just stay that cunt as well. But
straight up, because I see people that stay that cunt, and you know the only people that suffers is that person.
Yeah.
Yo, how can go to sleep at night, bro? That cunt can sleep straight up because he has done everything he can, bro,
and still
and more,
and
continues to, and is still stays that figure. And fucking Petrina as well over at fucking Sony. Same shit. Like another unsung hero of the fucking scene, you know? Sean over at fucking Universal. Fuck, same shit. Like these guys can sleep at night because they're doing stuff that's not even for them, you know? Yeah, they get a bit of a kickback, but every spotlight that they probably ever wanted, they don't get that no more.
Yeah.
It's all about fucking putting other cunt front, you know?
Yeah.
And so like that's absolutely what's dope. And I think that, yeah, you're right. And I love how Royce said it. It was like, yo, that's why I changed it. It was because like I looked at like what I had and I didn't have that.
Yeah.
So like I'd be a fool to say, oh, well, I didn't have that, so you shouldn't have that. Like that's not mature, bro. Yeah, you know, you got to be an adult about it. You know what I mean? Like hip hop is no longer in its baby. Hip hop is now the most listened to genre in the world, first and foremost. And it is, in terms of a subculture aspect, is the most influential lifestyle and culture. I don't say like musical genre anymore because there's so many facets to hip hop that it is like the most influential culture in the history of pop culture.
Yep.
Full stop. Fuck. That's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy. But then if we like quote unquote forefathers of that, right? Then fuck, we'd be doing like, then what do we want to see the culture burn?
Yeah.
No. Like it's that's why it's in our responsibility.
Exactly.
Crazy, bro.
Fuck yeah. Well, I think we've been going for about 16 hours.
Yeah.
But before we do bounce, because there's one thing I want to come back to. So the music you're currently putting out, how long have you gone under Lee Morno? Like when did you kind of start? When did you make that shift back? Or
2011.
2011.
Yeah.
And man, from personal experience, like of the stuff that you've been putting out recently, like my favorite, Speak Less, is like probably my favorite all-time track of yours, like straight up.
Same, yeah.
I fucking love that track. Breathe as well, and Whatever, because I kind of like the fire in that one. But
yeah, but the beat in that one's a fucking banger. Shout out to Split Atoms because the beat really made that one. The beat brought the attitude out in that one. But yeah. True.
But like you were saying before, man, like no one can say the work rate's not there. So I know you're fucking working on some shit at the moment. So what's in store? What do you got coming up?
Man, I got to give a massive shout out to Ello C. Big underrated MC in Sydney, and him and I, man, have been having a deep conversation lately. And to put some context to Speak Less, a lot of what you probably saw me put out was probably a bit repetitive. You know, there's a few reflective tracks in there. You know, there's Breathe. You know, Day by Day is sort of a bit of a homage to like, you know, they're all like pretty light and cruisy. Yeah. But then there's a lot of like angst and like, yo, fuck you, give me my credit, cunt. Like, you know, and like some people will be like even people like yourself, it's like you'll never say, I can't say that, but you also as a listener, you're like, all right, man, fuck, like there's only so many of these tracks that I can like stomach before. Unfortunately, bro, you're not giving me anything really new to listen to, so I've got to switch off, you know. And so like I probably wasn't respecting the listener. I was like more respecting
just expressing yourself.
Yeah. So what happened with Speakless was really crazy because I couldn't get out of that mental state, right?
Yeah.
And I had a funny altercation with an MC, but this MC, I wouldn't even name his name, but he actually, he was like, he tried to tee up at me. I had said to him verbatim, I hadn't cooled things off with Ello C. And this is like me being in my own head and being an egotistical cunt, because like, you know, he's right, I'm right, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, he hit me up. He's like, yo, man, I talked to Ello, like he's down to a track. I'm like, yo, I just told you that I'm not cool with him. And you're going to go and fucking just go against what I just said to you? Like, let me talk to him first at least and be like, oh, why are you going to come at me like that? I'm like, well, because like I just fucking verbatim said to you in your household that I wasn't cool yet, just let it breathe, you know? So anyway, me and him had a massive falling out about it because like he wasn't cool with the way that I was just not trying to be positive. But I did take learning out of it, and I was like, yo, this isn't me taking my time with mending that relationship, because Ello C and I, like even you guys don't even really know, we did overtime. Well, our work rate was bananas. That's the only reason why I still have bridges for any of these new MCs, because Soul benefits. So big shout out to Zerish, fucking capital Z. Fuck, big shout out to Stormy.
Where are those boys at? I haven't seen something from them in a minute. Yeah.
Well, because it's changed, bro. Like you know, Stormy's got a kid now. Like he's like, you know, he's like
big village,
they were
right?
killing it. Yeah,
they were big village, but not when we were fucking with them, bro. Like Zerish is doing everything himself. He was working out of Mount Drew Street University.
Yep.
Right, we had the collab with it was overtime, which was me and Ello, Empress MC, now Nina Nicole, who's fucking the best female fucking MC. I don't give a fuck, hands down. Eats anyone, right? But she's married to Motley now, so they live down like Melbourne / Tassie. So it was me, Ello, Empress, Christian Joseph, which is he's a hectic producer, and he was like one of the first cats off the rank for like viral singing videos in Sydney. If you like guy from out Truett ways, or Blacktown. So and Tim Bautista was on there, and Soul Benefits. So we had this track. That was all of us, and we were still doing it for the West. This is how I met Poetic, you know. So we were out there. Like Elijah was coming up at that time, like really young. Yeah. Big shout out to D-Boss. He was out there doing his thing, and that's when I really got, I think, back into like, oh yeah, excited, man, I'm fucking back out in West Sydney. Yeah. This is why I love it out here, because like fucking MCs are hectic. Lazy J was out here. YMS was still out there doing their shit. Fucking, you know, like I said, like D-Boss, fucking, shout out to DJ Manny was still fucking producing. And like even people like Will Singe, like he was, like Will Singe was the good homie for a second, because he was seeing what I do and we were influencing him on creating content. He was still caught up with the whole Sony thing. Anyway, so I have to say shout out to LOC, and I'll quickly try and bring it back to the track. But so me and him had the falling out, and I was like, yo, the longer I leave this, like it's not doing anyone any service. So I hit him up and I was like, yo, bro, you got a minute? He's like, yeah, what's up? Because we've always got that respect, even if we're not liking each other at the time. We'd always be like, yeah, we can't deny we did a lot with each other and for each other. So they look, I was like, I unnecessarily held this grudge because, you know, like I felt like I was owed something, and I did a lot for you, and I think I probably put too much of myself on that shelf or that pedestal, you know, because I was the older guy, and it's not like that. I said, you did a lot for me, and I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate all the time that we spent together, and because we were hanging out like 2-3 times a week, and we were doing national tours, and I took him, like I used all my connects, he did all the mixing and shit, and online presence stuff. So we had a really good dynamic, and the pressure sort of started to amount to him, and without going into like details, we just had this like really toxic relationship at the end, and we fell out. So I was like, I just basically apologized to him. I was like, yo, I'm gonna own my part on it, and you know, like I'm just gonna put that to you, bro, and much love, much respect, and I'll leave it with you, you know. And he came back and was like, yo, bro, like same up, same shit with me, that I fucking you know, put myself up there with the same level of responsibility, so you know, like that's props, this, that. As soon as he said that, speak less, and then a lot of bars of steel were flying around at that time. So speak less was a 50 bar verse, 50 plus bar verse. So that's one verse, that track. That my mental had to be reset, and my responsibility. That was just part of the verse, and I just cut it and placed it where verses would be. So when that track was written, it was funny. There's a couple of lines. So like, it was actually supposed to be like, yo, the fact is, reason to stay active. Most of these street actors make their life seem attractive. Need you to keep balance. Go homies and stay adaptive. Cronies from day one. That's why like cronies and like, it was actually an aggressive track. It was supposed to be bars of steel. I was going to hit up Power. I was be like, yo, I have this verse for that. But then it took this weird turn, and it set a different tone for the track where I say like, even after apologies, brother, I feel awful. Because my mental had to be reset, and my responsibility, even though I was depressed, took me a small break. He caught us out for the recess. Only living or learning, only winning or learning, because losing I don't regret. Right? Like, those lines came out when I was like, I all of a sudden, when this verse started just spilling out, bro, I was just fucking hamming. Like, I was just like, like no pause, no nothing. It was like all those bars just fucking went, right? And when that came out, I was like, yo, bro, I'm apologizing to Ello, because I fucking, you know, and like all these bars that I was so happy with, and I was so like excited about to say, and I want people to hear what I'm about to say. And then, bro, the first person I had to send it to was Ello, and I was like, yo, hey, bro, I want you to hear something, because like this line particularly is for you, but there's a lot of probably like reflectiveness that I want you to hear, because you know, you're a pivotal part of my, you know, journey to getting back into what I know now is like my core. Like, I am hip hop. Like, I live it, I breathe it, I love it. I'll do anything for it. It's like a child to me, you know, like, and so as a result, he plays a massive part in that. So back to like, you know, so I played that to him, but then but the funny thing was when I played the beats, and I was going through the beats for it to try and like put it up for like content, and I heard those organs, I started going along with it. I was like, yo, this is not supposed to be a G track. Like, there's some bars in there, but it's not meant to fucking bar out and make someone feel, you know, like cunts need to know that like I'm not the man. Like, you know, so and then coupled with Clean's visuals, bro. Shout out to Drew Blast, Mr. Clean, Andrew Word, Delaga, Woody, whatever the fuck you
the
want to
clip.
call him.
So like, it's perfect, man.
And the funny thing was, that wasn't even the clip. Like, that just came together, and bro, it was so crazy. Clean turned around and was like, yo, bro, this is gonna be your fucking best clip that you've put out. And I was like, oh, for real? Like, I hadn't even seen a draft or nothing of it. I fell in love with it, bro, when I saw a picture of me and the family and my kids, and it was just such a full circle vibe. And then now, new music wise, it's got that feel. Now I'm like, that's almost like I can bar still, and like this shit that we're about to record with Hazy. That's funny as fuck. There's like lines in there like, anyway, whatever. I'll leave it with you to listen to, but
you'll see him soon enough, you animals. But I'm still bar. But in terms of my personal music, bro, like I want that speak less feel. Because I want to talk to people. Like, I want them to know that it's okay to fucking, you know, like I got a line in this new track I got called Free. It's like, I learned that like crying every day didn't ruin me, basically. Do you know what I mean? It's about talking to people. It's like, yo, I heard you fucking lost your job. You know, you got a baby coming. The only person that you could ever talk to about it's locked up. So you're starting to drink. First you're doing it socially. Then you starting to isolate because the people you're doing it socially with, they're not really real with you like that. And so now you're isolating, and now you're medicating, and now it's a problem. But there's no one to blame for that. Do you know what I mean? So this is fucking previewing that shit, like. Exclusive.
No shit. But, so was funny because now you know, the bars are like that, and like, man, and I know this is gonna come off the back of Kobe, right? Okay.
Yep.
And I know Kobe won't mind me saying this, but like, I saw Kobe and I fucking loved him from the start, and I saw him struggling with alcohol, right? And that's my that's my little bro.
Yep.
And I don't have to speak to him a lot, but like when I see him and I fucking love him, I don't know why. I couldn't even tell you why, right?
I get it.
But we did this show with Sesk out west, and him and Nook came, and you know, I see Nook like drink to the shit house, you know, but like sometimes we don't approach people like, yo, you need to chill, you know what I mean? Like, but because it's not our journey sort of thing, there's this borderline thing. Like you
Everyone's
can't tell someone to, I can't go tell these boys, be like, yo, stop doing that because you're fucking your life. Like, and I'm telling you, because I done fuck mine. I had to get it back.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't get back to where I'm at,
Yeah.
right? So I need you to know, because you know, you owe it to yourself and your family and your loved ones, even if you feel there's no one there right now. Blah, 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 blah. So I look at Kobe and like, it's crazy because this connection I have with Kobe, like we actually had some, when everybody else around him was like big up in him, and he started to get a bit of notoriety and da. No one could tell him he had a problem.
Yeah.
I was probably one of a handful of people, you know, fuck, Kobe can tell you, right, that I was like, yo, he's like, sort of mentioned he had a bit of a problem with the drink. I'm like, yo, bro, like, if you got a problem with the drink, like, talk to me. Are you okay? Because I'm telling you right now, I know what you're talking about. Like, for real, like, real life.
Yeah.
And bro, right here at the Gladstone, it was at a tour up, I'm pretty sure. Like, we took him like 10 minutes, and I was like, yo, you good? Like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So, like, when he took himself away to get better, like, bro, I felt so happy. And we caught up at Clarendon Tavern when we had the Cess gig for Black Aunt, for Cess mum. You know, me and him caught up, bro. It was beautiful because he was like there with like his fucking like one of his like AA homies who wasn't a hip hop guy. He was like a guy on the journey there with him. And bro, like, I was like, yo, young man, like fucking young king. Like, I'm thinking like, you're not even old enough yet to know what you're doing for yourself.
Yeah.
But you're fucking doing it, bro. And like, that's hectic. So like, I'll fucking shout Kobe, bro, like from the top of any building to say like the stuff that he's doing for the clarity of mind and for his because he's a father.
Yeah.
Bro, have you heard that track Cocaine by Royce the 5'9"?
No.
He basically says to his dad, like, yo, dad, I know you stopped cocaine for us, and that, like, basically we got that back. And we're like, you probably think that we're too young to know that you stopped that for us, but we know. And so as your son, I'm telling you that I appreciate that sacrifice. Same shit to Kobe, bro. It's like I know my kids understand the impact that me stop drinking has had on their last 3 years of their lives.
Yeah.
Right? And what Kobe's doing now as well, bro, like straight the fuck big ups. Like he's a young indigenous man. He's an important figure in his community. So for him to have that clarity of mind so he can make every tool, like every person around him sharper and better for it.
Yeah.
So that's a fucking true leader, bro. He's like destined for big things.
Yeah.
Like other level things, you know? And once he gets that clarity of mind, bro, like fuck, sky's the limit for that guy.
Yeah.
So like, man, massive props to Kobe, bro, because like
100%.
I have to say, like, in this climate, that's not an easy fucking thing to do.
Yeah.
Everything's so accessible. You know what I mean? And so it's inspirational to be like, yo, there's cats out there that are of age that are like fucking educating themselves.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Big up, Kobe.
Big up.
Fucking oath.
Big up.
Love you, bro.
Just sneaking
Exclusive.
it in
What have you got? Like, have you got the...
there. I just got the beat.
Feel free to lay some bars.
Oh, fuck.
If I had some, I would. Check me out.
Nah, no one's gonna hear it.
You know what? Yeah, I was going to say.
Not yet. Not
here's
yet.
me, like...
You fucking wait. Wait.
I got it
Like
here, but
everyone
like,
else.
bro, this shit is so tongue flip. It's fucked. I had to practice my own shit.
We're gonna record it
Yeah.
right now.
All right, man. I'd
Bro.
shake your hand, but
Nah, we're going to do
we'll
it.
do it.
Yeah, fuck it.
I'll
Look,
hug you.
guess
So I
what?
don't give a fuck.
We out here. Yo, thank you so much for coming through.
love you, bro.
Stay sanitized. Ooh, citrus. It's nice.
Yeah, no, this is good smell. Fuck, that was
Smooth.
awkward shit. Yeah.
We've had some fucking cracking handshakes on here so far.
Yeah, fucking hell.
But yeah, man, thank you for coming through. For
Oh,
speaking
fuck,
your
thank
truth.
you, man.
I
And
feel like
like,
there'll be a part 2,
Big
3,
ups
and
to
4 to
everybody.
this eventually. Like,
nah, fuck it. I've said my
That's
shit.
it,
Let
done.
the other
Speak
homies say
less.
that shit. Yeah, speak less, say less.
and that's that.
Peace.